Is this thing on? Microphone check 1, 2. How's my video? How's my audio? From a 1 to 10, what are we working with here? All right, looks good on my phone. What's up, Mike or Mark and Inquisitive? Mark, thank you so much. Good to see everybody. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. We are going to be covering the Delphi murders. We have titled this series Abby and Libby. Just noticing anybody out there covering the Delphi murders, they've lost sight of what it's really all about. They've somehow managed to create a pile of shit that has eclipsed where the focus really should be. And then they just dramified everything surrounding that giant pile of shit. So we're going to focus on all the evidence against Richard Allen. And we're just going to talk about what might have happened that day, because he's not talking, at least not in detail, and not coherently. Thank you, Mark. So we're going to hang out just for a few minutes and allow everybody to kind of show up. Jill Moser, good to see you. Okay, gotcha. Sure, these neon lights above my head aren't helping. It's always good to see you, Jill. We're going to start off part 4 right into Richard Allen's second interview with Jerry Holman. And just a few. What's up, Tamby? There you go. Represent. Gang, gang. I'm telling you guys, the sleuth crew's everywhere. We're in London. We're in Australia. We're in Africa. We're all over the United States. We're in Mexico. We're in South America. Welcome in, Timmy. Tommy Baker. Yep, second day in a row I'm trying my Dunkin' iced coffee. It's like a cold brew. So I just get it with no ice. I don't want that nasty tap water in there if I can avoid it. I'm a bit of a water snob. All right, so we're at about the 4-minute mark. We'll give it about 2 minutes. I suggest you guys go watch this entire series. We started with Libby's video. We're going right through the motions. We had a great conversation, and we're going in chronological order. So we started with Libby's video. Then we went into the interviews. We're on interview number 2. Then we're going to go through all the calls. And then we're going to go through all the trial exhibits. And then we're done. Is that better than Starbucks Sleuth? I would say comparable. Those are my go-to, Starbucks or Dunkin'. It's good to see you, Tommy Baker and Timmy. Welcome in. Tamby, feel like I haven't seen you in a minute. Inquisitive, good to see that you caught a live stream. Appreciate the feedback. So as you remember, they just discussed during the trial. They tried to bring up, well, did Jerry even read him his Miranda rights, right? Because the video starts at a certain point. But I don't think it even matters because he signed a document and it says it's good for 14 days. And I think this was like the 13th day or something like that. But I believe that Jerry testified that he did Mirandize him. Let's welcome in Ziggy, 1967. I heard salt water might be good for a migraine. All right, guys, we're at about the 7-minute mark. We're just going to dive right in. Is that Hein Brothers Coffee? Welcome in, Tammy. I don't think I've ever had that. Hein Brothers Coffee. Hein Brothers. Is that local? Here it says Louisville. I think I heard his Miranda rights being read to yesterday, and it seemed to piss him off. Yep, he was preparing for so long for these moments right here, to be in that room. How he was going to keep his cool, he was going to give him the right body language. And then he just jumped the gun. He just started acting guilty. And the reason he didn't want him to check his phone and search his house, because if they have his phone and his wife is like, why aren't you calling me back? He's like, well, I don't have my phone. Well, where's your phone? The police have it. Why do the police have it? Well, my name came up in the Delphi murders and they're checking my phone history. They also want my car. Right? So he's got a story for his wife, he's got a story for his friends, and he's got a story for the police. The story for the police is going to be the one that most closely matches the truth because he knows he's going to be interacting with them, and that's where it really matters. So he's going to add certain things in with that story to law enforcement, and he's going to make sure to leave certain things out with the story to his wife because he can keep her at bay. That's what psychopathy is, in my opinion. They compartmentalize. D. Robinson, welcome in. All right. So without further ado,
which means absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Let me know. Can you guys hear that? Okay.
So this is going to read kind of funny, but you'll see. So we seal everything. So sealed paperback containing one pair of dirty Thorgood boots, size 7.5 mins, and then on down. So we basically we took the clothing that you had mentioned that you possibly could have been wearing the day you're on the bridge,
Okay.
and then we also took some knives.
Okay.
We took your car, and then we also took a.
He's like, okay.
Sig 40, right?
Okay.
Right there. I used to be a Beretta guy. I was in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Up to Berettas. And then when I first got on the state police, we had Berettas as well. And then
Richard Allen's like, don't pull this bullshit with me. Don't even try to do it. Mullins already tricked me. He almost um, tripped me up. He almost had me confessing to something that I didn't do. He's like, I'm not even, don't try to be my buddy.
Went to Glocks for a little bit,
Sure.
and then we went to
Sure.
SIGs.
Trying to think
Sure.
what we even had. I think the Berettas were probably coming out just before I got out.
There's that guy's down the hill. That nasally southern twang.
Because they used to have the old 45s.
Beretta,
then. No, they were,
Springfield.
I have no idea, honestly. They were the government issued 45s. Yeah.
What's up, Mark?
We had I think there were 40 Berettas.
She warrior.
And I think when I came on in 2001 in the state police, we had Berettas, but went to Glocks, not a huge fan of Glocks, but SIGs.
Mm-hmm.
If I could build an indoor range and afford the ammo, I'd shoot that thing every day.
Yeah.
You shoot yours?
I've not had a lot of experience, no.
No.
See, this is what they do in these interviews. They're leading him into a trap that they plan to use in trial. Now, he could have had an argument because would have been his best argument, and this is what they're defending against. They're being proactive against what his response could be, right? Because everything for them is about what does it look like during a trial. So if they're like, hey, we found this bullet in between these two girls that were murdered, Richard Allen was there that day and the bullet matches him. Well, Richard Allen could say, I've been on the trail. I'm always on the trails. So the likelihood that I would have been there at that time is just like David McCain, right? The likelihood that David McCain is there between 2 and 4 is not that crazy. You know, it's not that unexpected because he's always there. He's working there. He used to live there. He's responsible for the upkeep of that. You know, he's part of the historical society or whatever that is. So it makes sense. You know, it's a numbers thing. You know, statistically, it should be expected that David McCain would be on the trails. So statistically, it is likely that Richard Allen is there. And if he's down there using his gun and he's doing target practice illegally, that's a much better charge than being charged with 2 counts of murder and kidnapping. So they're trying to prevent that. They're trying to clear that up. Richard Allen, he's talking about guns, talking about shooting range. If I can build my own shooting range, what he's doing is he's holding his hand and he's leading him right into the pit that will be used to smother him later in trial.
I mean, target practice here and there. It's probably been, I don't even remember. I haven't shot him in a long time, I know that.
Do they have like an indoor range in Delphi?
No, not that I know of. Honestly, I don't even know where. I haven't looked. There used to be one in Kokomo. That's the only thing I know.
Where you
That's
live
where
in, yeah, and you live in town, so you can't go.
And also remember his Google history. He looked up some ranges, I think, in Logansport or Kokomo.
Out your back door and shoot it.
No, I probably could. It probably wouldn't be a good idea, but.
I live out in the country, so
Mhm.
I know my closest neighbor's like 2 miles away, so I shoot mine out there. I got like a ditch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an indoor range, but I have like a ditch I can shoot and stuff.
That sounds awesome. So that tells me that Jerry Holman is a good shot. He's out in his backyard with his AR, you know, blah, 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 blah. 50 cal, you know, 200 yards, fucking 30-06.
Like I said, these are the items that we took. These are the items that we're testing. Some tests take longer than others, as you know. So the lab wants me to ask a few questions just about to help us
His
with the
Beretta.
testing, and you'll understand when I ask you.
Okay.
So, for example, they took a lot of swabs. They're taking swabs off of everything.
Okay.
So what they want to know is, have you ever loaned anything out that we've taken? And again, I just told you what we took. I realized that, but mostly some of the major.
Right here, they're continuing to lead him to that pit. Everything they're doing is for trial. There's nothing that they're doing right here that they don't expect to show to a jury. Richard Allen's not prepared for that. But notice how he's like, huh? So he's always offended. Like, you think you're going to catch me on that? We took swabs, DNA. He's like, so? Like, it's almost like as if he's taken measures to ensure that they don't have anything as far as DNA. So, you know, he kind of gets it's almost as if he gets upset by it.
Major items that, have you ever loaned them out for an
Alex, what up?
significant
Thank you for the
time?
super sticker.
Because if for example, my buddy's fuel pump,
Robin, welcome in.
He said, hey, can I borrow your old truck? And I said, yeah.
Let's welcome in the new people. Alex, thanks for sponsoring today's live stream. I appreciate your support. Bootleg Pass, another stream. You've been busy. Yeah. You know, people are falling off. That's when we get strong. Thank you, Miss Dog Lover. Please hit the like button. So welcome in Robin, Bootleg, and Alex. She Warrior 2.
Said it's going to be 2 weeks, ended up being 5 or 6 months. That would be a significant time frame. That my buddy's DNA would be in that truck.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you've loaned out besides your family members? We don't care.
Look, he's just so offended.
You never loaned the truck out, or your sorry, it's a Ford Focus. Is that what it is?
I mean, if I do, I certainly don't remember. Most of my family has vehicles, so extra vehicles.
Yeah.
So.
I wonder why he mentioned the truck. You never lent your truck out? Why did he say that? Is it possible Richard Allen drove with somebody from Peru and they were allowed to use his truck? Or is that stupid?
Loaned the truck out, or your sorry, it's a Ford
Never
Focus.
Loaned your truck out?
Is that what it is?
I mean, if I do, I certainly don't remember. Most of my family has vehicles, so extra vehicles.
Yeah.
So.
The same thing like my son. He sometimes will come over and leave his coat, and I'll wear it for a couple months or something like that.
Okay.
Or my son-in-law, he'll spend money on guns. He's a gun freak. He likes to buy guns, and then he'll be like, "Hey, can I borrow $500?" And then he'll give me one of his guns as collateral, and then when he gets the money back, anything like that you know of? Okay. So,
see, this is why you never, even if you're innocent, you just don't talk to police. Like, I don't want to help criminals out there, but this goes for you guys, all of you out there too. You just don't. You don't talk to them. If you want, you can go home and you can write everything that you know about the incident down on a piece of paper, and then you can go and hand it to them. This is everything. Don't ask me. I don't answer questions. This is all the help that I can provide to you. Here's my email if you need anything.
I'll let the lab know that. That's one of the big things. And then, like
What's
I said,
up, Patty?
Some of the tests are already back.
Jerry,
I do want to talk to you about one of the tests that we got the results back.
Let's go to Timmy here. He's answering the question about the truck. The truck talk might just be a lead into the gun. Yeah, because he's playing dumb. Like, why bring in the truck? He's known about the Ford Focus. You know, he's obviously using that as a tactic. Why mention the truck? Richard Allen brought up the truck too. Remember, he's like, oh, we also had a truck. You know, it makes you wonder, did you see, was there somebody at the Marathon gas station, maybe a Keegan Klein, borrowing Richard Allen's truck to get home later to be recovered at another time?
The other thing is, any of these knives or the gun, did you have that the day that you recall having that with you on the day of the 13th when you were out there on the bridge?
No.
You don't remember if you did or you didn't?
I didn't. I just went out for a short walk that day.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll get to the meat and potatoes of this, Rick. I appreciate you being cooperative with me. I want to talk about the results of your handgun. Okay.
Okay.
He's like, okay.
So handguns, as you know, probably, you may know more about them than I do. I don't know a lot, but they're very specific as far as the characteristics of the gun. So the firing pin is different from your firing pin. The extraction device is different from my extraction device. And they're basically what the lab has told me is that they're like fingerprints. They're specific to that gun and that gun only. Okay. So we took your gun, your 40 cal SIG, and we sent it down there to the lab to have it match with an item that we located on February the 14th when we found the girls.
Okay.
And that item was a 40 caliber Winchester round. We found that at the scene.
Okay.
The extraction marks on that round match your gun.
Perfect.
So
this is okay.
Just hear me out. I'm just trying.
I am.
So this is the round. Okay. Those are the extraction marks. That's the best picture of them. There's actually 3 of them. That's the same round that we found. Okay. And like I said, the methodology that they use is scientific, and they were telling me, and this is the report. You can read it if you wish.
I don't need to read it.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to help you. You know, let me tell you.
What do you guys think about that? I don't need to read it. If somebody was trying to tie you to a murder, don't you think you would want to read it? Or is he saying, I don't need to read it because I'm not connected? There's no reason to. I don't need to understand it because you're wrong.
Okay. You know, the prosecutor and the other investigator.
All right. Now, this is kind of more proof that he's being really cautious and careful about his body language. So he gets a little frustrated right here because more evidence has been revealed. Kind of like when they showed him the black car, the photo of his black vehicle, he started to panic and he realized, like, hey, they have evidence against me. So he's feeling that same kind of pressure here. So naturally, he wants to close his arms off like this. What he's doing is he's unconsciously giving his body language. Like he's uncomfortable. He's trying to block. He's trying to close himself off to what, you know, the barrage of information that's coming from Holman. As soon as he does it, he remembers, you know, be mindful of your body language. You know, you want them to perceive you as an innocent person. So he immediately undoes his arms.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to help you. You know, let me tell you something. You know, the prosecutor and the other investigators.
See that?
They want to see you lock you up, throw away the key. I don't think you're
ridiculous.
Just listen to me for 2 minutes. Let me explain this to you. I'm on your side. I talked to you a little bit out there on the scene. I know you mentioned a couple times you don't want to be the fall guy for this. You also mentioned to me the other day when I was telling you, hey, I want to check the property out, make sure there's no damage, and you said, doesn't matter, it's over. You know, you made comments like that to me that really concerned me.
Sure.
Okay, so he's talking about the comments that were kind of a big deal. It's good to see you, Robin Graves. I agree with you. So remember, it was a big deal when we were following the trial. They talked about the comments that Richard Allen made to Holman. Everybody was like, well, Holman should have been wearing a body cam. I don't think most homicide detectives wear body cam. You know, it's just something, it's just not, they're not a patrolman. They're not having incidences. Usually when a homicide detective needs to apprehend a suspect, they'll have somebody else do it. And then they'll be the ones to question them in the interview room. But when they were serving the search warrant, they were sitting in a car together, and apparently Holman was asking him certain questions like, hey, if we destroy anything, we'll pay for it. If your wife needs anything, or if there's anything we can do for you and your wife while, you know, during this process, because, you know, we don't have anything on you yet. You know, right now everything's just circumstantial. We're doing this to eliminate you, like we did with Ron Logan, like we did with Maxwell, and so on and so forth. But while sitting in the car, Richard Allen said something along the lines like, it doesn't matter. It's over. It's all over anyway. And that was a big deal during the trial. So this is, they're kind of discussing that right now.
Right. It's concerning. And
What I
now,
mean by it's over is that you've already started something here that there's no backing out of, so you've done, the damage is done, I guess is what I'm saying. That's what I would have been referring to.
okay, and I agree with that. We have started this. We've been working on this for a long.
And remember, there really wasn't any damage. There wasn't anything. They didn't do anything to Richard Allen that they didn't do to dozens of people. He's the only one reacting this way.
Time, and all the evidence is clearly indicating you're involved in this. And listen to me, Rick. I don't believe you should be the fall guy. But all the evidence, you say you're out there. We have.
See, and all Holman's referring to the other people who they believe are involved. They've believed other people were involved from the very beginning, and you can see it right here in the interview. They still believe it. But remember, everything they do is with the trial in mind. So you don't bring something up that you can't prove. You don't use it as part of your strategy, because the defense team will break it down. They'll break it down, from the source all the way to where it's evolved to. They'll break down everything, and they'll find the source of every piece of information. They'll break it apart. That's what they do. So these guys have to keep that in mind. So I guarantee you they believe that Keegan Kline is involved. Interview 1, Mullen says, were you there to introduce the girls to somebody? Who do you think they're talking about? And then right here, you can kind of hear Holman alluding to the same thing.
Witnesses out there. We have your vehicle. We have experts.
We don't want you to be the fall guy.
We have experts that say that's you on the video.
Who were
that's
you
your
with?
Voice on the video.
Who's the
Okay.
mastermind?
Experts, not me, because I'm not an
I
expert.
got you.
Okay, and now we have your round
Mm-hmm.
at the scene.
Okay.
Not on the bridge. You said you're on the bridge.
I don't even know how my bullet would have gotten out there if that's my bullet.
It's without a doubt that this is very
Okay.
scientific. So let me show you a picture of this round, where it was found. That's the round right there. It hadn't been out there very long. That is Liberty's foot. It's within 6 inches of one of the dead girl's body.
Okay, so the bullet that he's referring to, let me pull up the trial exhibits so you guys get some more visual assistance here. I'm going to pull up his keepsake box. And also, I wonder what the story behind this thing is, if there is one. So the exact bullet that they found at the crime scene matches up with this single bullet. This is obviously a trophy, right? You open the box. What does he see? What's the first things he sees in his box? Of course, his beautiful daughter right there. I think that's her. His trophy, right? He knows everything about that day. He knows everything about those witnesses. He knows how tall they were. He knows about how long their hair was. He knows that they were babysitting. He even knew exactly how many were there. Also, some kind of a note. Rick, I don't know what this is, but you're mean. It almost looks like it says you're mean, but you blank something. I don't know. Either way, it's something that he's holding on to. So he has a graduation. It appears to be a radiography program at Ball State. So that's impressive. And then this trophy. So now the guys have kind of moved everything around. This is all the shit at the bottom. I don't know what this booklet is. But I do think it's very telling that, we're looking at the exact same cartridge that was found at the crime scene. I wonder what happened when they compared this to the bullet at the crime scene. I wonder if they even tried. Palms are sweaty. Throwing up mom spaghetti. It was at this point he realized he fucked up. Yeah, please hit the like button if you could. It's the least you could do.
There's no way.
There is.
I'm telling you, there's not.
How did that round get there, Rick?
I don't know how the round got there. What I'm telling you is, if that is truly what you're saying it is, it's not my round.
The scientific experts are saying, I got a report saying that round came from your gun.
Okay.
What do you guys think about them showing? They could have easily have showed him a photograph, right? That was much more zoomed in than this. What do you think the strategy was about him leaving Liberty's foot in the image? Think that has anything to do with his email address, Fujaka? They're trying to see if he's gonna like something. He's gonna respond to it, or was it an unconscious decision? Like, hey, we wanted to show the distance between this round and the victim. Because I feel like I would use a lot of psychological tactics.
But understand this.
You were on the bridge.
I told you I was on the bridge.
Listen, right now, like I said, I got a prosecutor and investigators ready to lock you up. And if you don't give us a narrative, if you don't tell us your side of the story, there's two sides to every story. Hang on. Okay. I'm trying to help you.
I get that.
The media is going to portray you as this
monster.
Let's go to Steve R. It says, keeping the bullet is weird. I thought of him as a reluctant killer, as in a situation went bad on him. But if he kept the bullet as a trophy, that puts it in a different light. I agree with you. In the way, all the comments that he's made about his cell phone, like he's fully aware of how DNA works. He's fully aware of digital forensics. He knows how cell phone towers work. He knows about father companies in relation to our parent companies, in relation to his provider, cell phone provider. He says usually his wife will recycle his phone. Apparently they didn't this time because all of the data would have been transferred over to the new phone. That didn't happen. That's what they were hopeful for. The Fujaka email address wasn't created until 2018. What was the email address before that? He mentioned a Yahoo email address. So he's more cunning than people are giving him credit for. He's more physically capable than he lets on. And it's all by design. It's let's call it the psycho costume. You know, for a lot of people with psychopathy feel like a mutant. You know, they feel like they've mutated into something that's unhuman.
And you don't want your wife.
And it's already going to get there anyway. So
yeah. So this is your chance to tell us exactly what happened.
Unlike some people, most people, I care what people think about me, and
you do.
You've already set that ball rolling.
Now, is this just Richard Allen's way of explaining his overreaction? Is this another countermeasure? You know, I care about what people think. That's why I'm overreacting. That's why out of all the 12 search warrants that have been served, I'm the only one that's acting up. I'm the only one that's acting defensive because I care about what people think about me. Because there's some people out there that don't. So is this his countermeasure of explaining why he overreacted in the first interview? What do you guys think?
Yeah, but there's only one way to get out in front of it, and that's to tell the truth. What happened that day?
I can't tell you what happened that day.
You can tell us. There's no doubt in my mind.
Did you see him mimic Holman? Oh, this Thing is so finicky. Hold on. Watch. He'll mimic Holman.
Ball rolling.
Yeah, but there's only one way to get out in front of it, and that's to tell the truth. What happened that day?
I can't tell you what happened that day.
See the
You
arms?
can't tell us. There's
How?
there's no doubt in my mind that the evidence clearly indicates that you're involved in this. Are you the mastermind behind this? I don't know.
Mastermind. Okay.
Did somebody else set this up? I don't.
All right. Who's he talking about, guys? Who's he talking about?
Are you the mastermind behind this? I don't know.
Master.
Are you the mastermind? Are you the mastermind behind this? I don't know.
Mastermind. Okay.
Did somebody else set this up? I don't know, Rick. I want to know. And only you know. The truth will set you free. That's it.
Yeah.
The truth will protect you from the.
Holman said, did somebody else set this up? Who do you think he's referring to here? I'm not saying it. He's saying it.
Well, that's what I would have thought.
Well, tell the truth. Tell me how this round got next to one of our girls, in between both girls.
I don't know.
You do know. And if you don't tell me, you're going down for this.
Well, okay.
I'm serious. This isn't a joke.
And that could have been the agreement, right? You have to kill one of these girls. That way, if you get caught, you have no motivation to tell on me. Because if you tell on me, you're just admitting and making it easier for law enforcement to lock you up or give you the death penalty. Because if Richard Allen would have sat down and gave them a detailed account of what he did and why he did it and who he did it with, they could have put him to death. They just killed somebody in Indiana a couple weeks back, a cop killer.
Joking matter.
I'm not joking.
You're this
Do you
close.
realize what you've done to me? This is like you've talked to the people I work with. You've talked to my neighbors. You know, I've got anxiety. I got all kinds of stress and depression and one of the big things is
I agree, Ziggy.
You cannot even think something about me, but if I think you think something about me, it bothers me. And
so I think he's explaining why he overreacted. See, that's what Richard Allen does. He makes a mistake and then he tries to fix it with some kind of weird explanation.
that's already done because people out there already know that you think I did something.
I don't think.
And I didn't. Okay.
Rick, I don't think that. The evidence clearly indicates you're involved.
Right.
So if you're in my seat and I had you saying you're out there, witnesses saying you're out there at the same time with the girls, and now after a search warrant of your house, we find a gun, your gun. You own that gun, right?
I do.
When did you buy it?
Oh my gosh. I don't even remember. I mean,
2001. I
Okay.
checked for you. I know a lot of the answers to the questions I'm going to ask you.
Absolutely,
I'm just trying to give you the
Steve.
opportunity to be honest. That's
Okay.
why I asked the question. So you bought it in 2001 in Peru.
Okay.
And I asked you if you ever loaned anything out. I gave you scenarios. No. So that's your gun.
See, he's realizing that he walked into a trap. All he had to say is, yeah, sometimes I loan my gun out. Or, yeah, at one point my gun was missing and then it just appeared. Yeah, I go shooting out there. Right around where the girls were found. Sometimes I do target practicing right there. Or I fish, at night. I'll sneak down there at night. And at night, I keep my gun on me just in case. You never know when you'll come across a Garrett Kurtz type, or some meth head or something. And then they wouldn't have had anything on him. Yep, forever the victim. That's him. Pathetic old me. Because that works on people. But when he's alone or around people who are just as dark as him, I bet you he's quite the interesting character to observe in his natural habitat. The Rick Allen in its natural habitat is anything but majestic.
Either you had that gun or somebody had that gun. There's no way that round gets on that property where these two girls were killed without that gun being there. and you're there, your car's there, witnesses say
There is no way a round from my gun was anywhere near the girl.
Okay. And another thing about psycho killers, right? If Richard Allen is a psychopath, I believe that he is. Any normal person would just shut the fuck up. You know, you would have already had a lawyer. You wouldn't you wouldn't be this egotistical maniac. You know, you wouldn't be trying to outsmart these seasoned professionals, which it's obvious that's what Richard Allen thinks he can do, because he did kind of do it with Doolin. But Doolin had some disadvantages. He wasn't part of the core team. Richard Allen had called in. Richard Allen takes countermeasures, so he probably kind of was acting like the usual suspects, you know, with the fucking limp or something. He does this thing where he looks pathetic. So why is this guy who called in his tip? You know, we didn't come looking for him. I'm not part of the core group. I'm just here to do the interview and pass along these notes. You know, that's Doolin. So Richard Allen found success in that. He took advantage of that. His tactic of hiding in plain sight means he has to be proactive. If he's on the trail and his wife knows, that's, you know, he has to prevent any type of red flag from popping up anywhere. So he doesn't have a choice. He has to come forward. Comes forward, does it strategically. Meet me at Save-A-Lot. Takes advantage of Dan Doolin, and the strategy that he's taken was very successful. Now somebody fucked up after that by writing cleared on this tip. There's some kind of a conspiracy there. If there's any conspiracy involved in the Richard Allen case, that's where it is with the lost tip. Whatever's going on there, that needs to be investigated. And I'm sure they are. And I think they've even admitted to that they're trying to find out who wrote cleared on that tip.
Girls, the bridge, it just didn't happen.
And listen, we're trying to help you. We're trying to help you prove
No,
it.
you're trying to accuse me of murdering two. Call me down, you ask me a few questions, you ask me what I'm wearing, and I tell you what I think I was probably wearing that day, and then you try to say that I'm saying that's me in that picture, and it's not.
You don't have to say that.
I'm done.
Well, I have a warrant for your
I know
DNA.
you.
For your DNA first. What do you think I have a warrant for? You know I have a warrant. What?
I figure you're going to arrest me. You obviously think I've done it. The damage is done. Go ahead and do what you're going to do.
Okay. Well,
this doesn't just go away.
Translation. I'm not going to help you with your investigation, but it's obvious that you know that I did this. But he knows that he can't talk. He's as guilty whoever else is involved. That's the point. And this happens often, you guys. A lot of cases that we've covered that involve a group of killers, they all participate in the murder in some way or the other. Just like the Manson family. During the La Bianca and Tate murders, same thing happened. You have to participate. So you had the main killers, and then everybody else that was involved had to somehow participate, whether it was a stab wound, even after the victim had passed away. They would stab the victim because now you're all in on it equally. There's no reason for you to snitch. If you snitch on me, you're snitching on yourself. There's no deal to be made. You have equal culpability.
Hey,
I know.
exactly.
The only person I think can explain all this is you, and you're not explaining it to me.
I don't know what it is you want me to explain.
What were you doing on the bridge? How did your round get there? And why did you kill these two girls? Or why were you involved in this?
Why were you involved?
What was your involvement?
I had no involvement.
I don't think, listen, Rick, I don't think you're the one that killed them. I don't think you're the one that stuck the knife in them. Are you?
I didn't either.
He could just be using tactics, you know, trying to trip him up. But it sounds like he feels like he's involved, but not the main player.
Guy?
Really?
Are you?
No.
No.
Anybody that knows me knows I could never, even if I wanted to, do something like that.
Anybody that knows me, I've had a mask up from day one. So they don't know the real me. That's what he's really saying.
That's
Then
not
what
who I
happened?
am.
Then what happened?
As
I
far as
can't
you
tell
know.
you. How do you expect me to tell you? You want me to make up a story and
No, the truth. The truth is simple. You don't have to make that up. You just go back and tell me the truth.
I've
You can't
told
tell me
you.
that this event has not been weighing on you for years and years and years. You're
Yep,
out.
Wonderland, get dirty, John.
I've told you that. I don't know what you want me to do at this point. I did not murder two little.
I've been so nice
Oh,
to
let's
you.
see.
I've been so nice to
Oh,
you.
yeah, you're being nice. You're trying to
Yep,
get me to
growing
confess
crazy.
to something I
Good
had
to see
nothing
you.
to
I'm
do
trying to
with.
get you to tell the truth. I'm not trying to trick you.
You're trying to get me to confess to something I didn't do. What he's really saying is that there's part of me that wants to confess, and you guys are really pushing me to actually um, abide or indulge that impulse. He wants to get it off his chest. He wants to just let it all loose. And these tactics that these interviewers are doing are putting that pressure on him. If somebody was innocent, they're not going to confess to something they didn't do. But what he's trying to say is that he's feeling that pressure, and part of him wants to confess. And him wanting to confess is basically he's saying, you guys are making me falsely confess. But what he's saying is he's really close to confessing. Part of him wants to.
I've drawn out what we have.
It,
Most of it.
you
I'm not
assume
saying
it's
all
the
of it.
truth, and it's not.
It has to be the truth. The scientists don't lie. The science doesn't lie.
That's
Absolutely,
awesome.
Steve.
It's saying that round came from your gun.
I don't understand all that. All I'm telling you is there's a way that around from my gun, the one that you took from my house.
Okay, did you notice he said, I don't understand all that? Everything else, he's like, I know. I get that. I know about the DNA. I know about the digital forensics. So there's a good possibility he left that bullet there on purpose or wasn't concerned about it because he thought I never fired it. Maybe his own ignorance, he's thinking, well, they can only trace it back to me if I actually fire the weapon, because that is a misconception. A lot of people don't know about ejector marks, and tool marks in general. And he's saying, I don't know anything about that. So that's the first time he admitted to being ignorant about something. So it could be something that he overlooked. Early on, when the bullet information came out, a lot of people were thinking maybe the killer left it there. Richard Allen just put it in between them. For whatever reason, maybe the gun jammed and he's like, well, maybe it was part of his signature. I don't think so. I think that he got into an altercation with the other culprits. They took the gun from him, removed the magazine, cycled the gun, popped that bullet out of the chamber, and handed his gun back to him, basically telling him, put your game face on, after he killed Abby.
Ended up next to a murder scene or anywhere else. I don't know where you got that bullet. If it came out of my gun.
Right there. That's the
Then
round.
it didn't come out of my gun.
That round was
Then it
collected.
didn't come out.
What's up,
It didn't
Cheeks?
come out of my gun.
Rick, that round was collected on the 14th of February 2017.
That's right, Cheeks. That's right.
Okay.
It's been in evidence ever since.
Okay.
All right, and we've compared other weapons to that.
I understand what you're saying, but I can't explain it. I'm just telling you that if that was next to a murder site or anywhere near it, it didn't come out of my gun. And I don't know where you would have got one that did come out of my gun.
Right there. It was there. It was found right there.
Okay.
And I don't think you realize the severity of this. You realize the death penalty is on the table for this?
You know what? I don't really care about living.
Absolutely,
at this point.
Timmy.
I've dealt with not wanting to live for 7, 8 years now. It's been a long fucking battle. And with what you got.
Okay, so 7, 8 years, right? So that's about 2 years prior to the murders. So that means for 2 years, he was a ticking time bomb. And there's a lot of killers out there during their interviews that say, I wanted to kill myself, but I couldn't do it. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So I went out and killed somebody else. And then also during the interview, they talk about having these fantasies for their entire lives. Driving past a woman walking alone on the street, fantasizing about kidnapping them, raping them, and killing them. And they think about it constantly. When you're a psychopath, shit, you're looking at the world through a different lens. You're trying to mimic what humans do. You're feeling like some kind of a mutant. you know, unhuman, like you don't belong. You just don't have the same type of feelings that normal people do. So some things are easier for you, especially if you're a deviant.
Guys have done to me? Kill me. I don't give a fuck. You'll make my wife rich. So
Is that what she wants? Is that what your daughter wants?
they don't want any of this to even be happening.
Well, it is.
Exactly.
I can't turn this
Exactly.
back.
Kill me. Let's see. So during significant times during the Delphi investigation, kind of correlate with some of these weird findings on his phone search. I've been suicidal for 8 years now. Just kill me. You'll make my wife rich. What does he have, like an insurance policy? Is that what he was doing? Is that why his car crashed? Should I die now? Die now. Like, what does that even mean? Should I die now? So it starts with Delphi, Indiana News, Delphi, Indiana News. Shortly after, he's looking up the Delphi, Indiana News, which is basically the Delphi murders, right? You can't look up Delphi News without the Delphi murders coming up. So that would be kind of a good way to do it without implicating yourself. 10:47 Delphi News. 1 minute later, should I die now? That's kind of weird.
Exactly.
You were there. You're there.
Yeah.
The experts say that's you on the video.
Okay.
The experts are saying you said down the hill to the girls. The experts are saying all this. That all the evidence indicates you were out there. The witnesses saw you. The witness saw you. Did you?
Let's go to Giuseppe Camerado. If he's so cunning as Sleut says he is, and calculating, why would he admit to being there, leave an unspent round, leave the phone, and get rid of other clothes 50 feet away in the creek? I don't know. He got away for 6.5 years. He's the guy working at CVS. He tipped himself in. He's obviously cunning, bro. Let's see. He started with, why did he admit being there? He admitted being there, and this proves that he's cunning. It's called being proactive. So if his wife knew that he was on the trails, if he didn't come forward, she now suspects him of being the killer. Right? He has, as the cunning killer that he is, he knows that he must be proactive and get ahead of it. Right there. There's proof that he's of cunning. Why would he leave the unspent round? So he's not a genius. Cunning and being a genius are two separate things. He just admitted in the interview that he was ignorant to tool marks. But everything else, he's like, I know about that. I know about DNA. I know about digital forensics. I know about towers. So you can be cunning without being a brilliant genius. Come on now, Giuseppe. Try to keep up.
Said you didn't see anybody else on the bridge, but there was a girl that walked up, a lady that walked up and saw you on the platform, right?
Okay.
You didn't see her, and then right after that, these two girls that end up dead minutes later walk by her, and she looks back and sees them passing you. You're the last person to have contact with Abby and Libby. Your weapon, your gun out of your weapon.
Giuseppe says, if he wanted to confess, as you say, and his confessions were true, and you believe other actors were involved, why did he never mention that? Well, first of all, let's say you go out to sexually assault these two girls and you don't plan to murder them, and you're with somebody else and you're getting ready to sexually assault them, and then this psychopath that you're with pulls out a blade and starts killing one of the victims. You're going to say, well, I didn't come out here for that. You're going to get into an altercation. That person then forces you to kill the second victim so that you guys are equally involved. Are you going to go around snitching on that person that you saw brutally kill this person and force you to kill the second victim? You're not going to go around snitching on those people, because if those people can do to Libby What they did, they can do it to your daughter as well. Common sense, man. Come on.
I've never contacted Abby and Libby. I've never even met them.
That day? Why?
I didn't.
That's all I want to know is the truth. You're not willing to...
I've told you the truth. Do what you need to do.
Okay. Well, let me get I have the warrant here for your DNA, and then let me step out and see.
What's up, Howard? Music?
And they'll come in and swab you with it.
Oh my God.
That's fine.
Well, I'm trying to help you, but all right, I think they got the warrant, so hang on 1 second.
So now Jerry Holman's the bridge guy. Oh my God. Seems like he uses indignation and anger as a mask to hide his guilt. Yeah, because that's kind of what he's perceived as the normal reaction. Those are the kind of normal reactions that he's picked up on and tried to emulate. But he doesn't even know really how to react. You know, anybody that can kill 2 girls like that in cold blood, you know, we're talking about a potential psychopath here. Chameleon playing a part. Look, he's like, see, he's doing it now. They're watching me, so see, he looks up at the camera. Did you see that? Here, let's pull that back. You can almost see it in real time. So right here, you can kind of, he's thinking. And then he's like, okay, they're watching me. I need to start, you know, I need to get back into character. I need to start acting upset, angry. How dare they? And then watch him. He looks up at the camera because he's doing that because he's thinking about the camera. And then he plays it off and looks away. So casual here. He's like, well, I can't be casual. I need to do something. Here it comes. And then look, he looks up at the camera and then tries to play it off. There it is. I wasn't looking at the camera. I'm just looking at the ceiling. I just feel like Holman wants to see what he's going to do with this photo right here. Oh, he's looking at it. And then he looked at his foot. He looked at Libby's foot and then started moving his own foot. It's kind of weird. Let's play that again. Looks at her foot, looks at his foot, and starts moving his foot around. Tension in his neck. Bootleg. He does want to. When the cop mentioned the warrant, Rick was accepting his fate for a split second before the cop said DNA warrant. Rick wants relief, a purge, a catharsis. Yep. It's a good word, catharsis. Yep. Those endorphins. Giuseppe, that makes sense, but does any evidence point to that? Honestly, I wanted it to be this guy. Yeah, there's plenty of evidence to point at him. If anything, if you don't think it's him or you don't think there was enough evidence to convict him, at the very least, he should be the prime suspect for you, right? I just don't see any conclusive evidence. Apparently, the jury did. I mean, you don't think he's the prime suspect? You don't think he's involved in this crime? See, it's weird. You have some people that call Richard Allen Bay, like babe. Like, how do you take a leap from they didn't have enough evidence to convict him to worshiping the man and being in love with him? That's hybristophilia. Because at the very least, he's your prime suspect. And you should be trying to find that evidence because he is the prime suspect. That's not the way I look at it. I think there's plenty of evidence. The timeline, circumstantial evidence is still evidence. But they have physical evidence too. What's up, brown-eyed girl? Good to see you. Most men in that area have similar voices to me. Well, I'm sure it's, the area. The geolocation. They're all going to have the same kind of accent.
All right, Rick, this is a warrant right now we have to collect your DNA. Vito's gonna do it.
Okay.
I have to read it to you. It's to law enforcement, reference DNA.
You got it, Garrett. We're going to go through all this.
You're hereby authorized and ordered in the name of the state of Indiana to take DNA.
It's clear as day.
DNA standard of Richard M. Allen. My butyl swab, so basically I'll just swab it inside of your teeth.
Okay.
I just don't know how people go from, well, yeah, you guys didn't have enough evidence to convict this guy. If I was in court of law, hopefully I wasn't convicted, that week of a case. But they have a lot on him. They got the timeline. They got the witnesses. They got the bullet. They got the lack of alibi. They got the lack of people willing to testify on his behalf, to kind of set the tone for what he was up to that day. Nobody was willing to do that. Nothing at all. He didn't even stand up and fight for himself. So he's obviously, at the very least, the prime suspect, right? He's there. He looks like the bridge guy. The voice matches. He said he was there. He was overlooked, unfortunately, at the beginning. And if they would have had the opportunity to interview him like Mullen, Tony, and Jerry are able to do now, just like what Robert Ives said, they would have had this guy convicted within 3 to 4 days.
Compare that to any DNA that we have. Okay. You are further ordered to any means necessary to seize Richard Allen and to take a butyl swab.
So watch this person helping administer the DNA test. He can't even stomach the crime scene photo. Watch, he takes it off the desk. So I feel like this was being used as some kind of a tactic. Like, hey, we have overwhelming evidence over you. Just tell me what happened and who was involved. So they put this disgusting photo up there to trigger him. And even the person administering this test can't stomach the photo. He takes it off the table.
You're being cooperative, so we don't have to worry about that. But if you aren't, we could get it any means necessary to compare the evidence of the crime.
See? He's like, I don't want to see that shit.
Furthermore, ordered to seize such property or any part thereof found on such search, and that you bring the same or any part therefore with or with.
Are you guys familiar with the Stephen McDaniel case? We'll take a quick break on that note. Have you guys seen the interrogation of Stephen McDaniel? Here, I'm pulling up his interrogation. Okay. All right, I found it. Okay, so Stephen Mark McDaniel, born 1985, was convicted of murdering Lauren Giddings, a 27-year-old Mercer University Law School graduate, on June 26, 2011, in Macon, Georgia. McDaniel, a fellow law student and neighbor, right? He's a law student, kind of like Koberger or a Ted Bundy type, and neighbor, used a master key to enter Giddings' apartment, strangled her, and dismembered her body with a hacksaw. So this is him being interrogated. And it's really odd to watch. Why the hell isn't the folder coming up?
Earlier tonight, me and you talked, all right.
All right, give me a second, guys. I'm going to have to reset this.
Before me.
So we're at the 21-minute. I don't know. Sometimes it glitches. All right, 21-minute mark. I'm going to shut this down. Stop sharing, and then I'm going to refresh. I'll be back. There we go. Okay, so let me pull up the investigation of Stephen McDaniel. I just want you guys to take a look at his body language real quick. He just kind of sits there and doesn't move at all. He does, because in his mind he's trying to be proactive. He's taking a countermeasure. He's considering his body language, and he feels if he just sits there and doesn't move, he's going to give they'll perceive him as an innocent person because he's not closing off his body language. He knows what he's doing. Well, he thinks he knows what he's doing, but it's actually him trying to act like he's not guilty is what's making him appear guilty.
All right. You don't have any weapons on you, do
See
you?
him? He just stands there
What's
the
wrong?
whole time with his side.
You know I'm Detective Patterson, right?
Yes.
He's like, what's
Do
wrong?
you remember? Put your hands up here. You remember us talking earlier tonight, right?
Yes.
You remember me earlier in the day?
Yes.
When we came down here and talked a little bit and then we left?
Yes.
Okay. I need to know about this girl right here. You know her?
Yes.
Who is that?
Lauren Giddings.
Does she live next door to you?
Yes.
When's the last time you seen her?
2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Was you friends with Lauren?
Yes.
Look at me when you talk to me, son. Okay? Was you friends with her?
See how he's acting? Short answers. Yes. He's not moving. He's not giving any body language. He's monotone. Very strange. All right, let's get back to the matter at hand.
Which means absolutely nothing to you.
Okay.
This is a
21
property
minute
record
mark.
receipt. So this, it's gonna read kind of funny, to compare to evidence of the crime. You are furthermore ordered to seize such property or any part thereof found on such search, and that you bring the same, or any part therefore with before me to be disposed
Welcome
of
in,
according
Nancy.
to law. So basically we take it, we can't dispose of until the judge says so. So we'll keep this. Okay.
Absolutely.
Do you have anything in your mouth?
J. Ray,
No.
Yeah.
welcome in.
Sorry, turn your way for me. Just turn your body.
Just turn my body.
All right, open your mouth.
Absolutely, Timmy. He stared at the foot and then looked at his own foot and started wiggling it around. Mr. Foodjack over here.
Understand.
Yeah, it wasn't successful, Steve. But I can tell what he was trying to do. What's up, Christine? Cheeks. Yeah, I remember this. He was also interviewed by a local news station right after the murder before they found her body. Yep, I have that video too. Where he basically came and was interviewed. Okay, so yeah, that's a good point. Let's go back to what Cheek said. Why would Richard Allen come forward if he was guilty? Well, let's go to Cheek's comment here. Yeah, I remember this. He was also interviewed by a local news station right after the murder before he found her body. So he came up trying to interject himself into the matter. That way he knows what's going on. He looks like he's hiding in plain sight. You know, nobody's looking for him. He's right here. He's a concerned friend. He even went inside her apartment to spread his DNA around when they were looking for her. He helped them get into the apartment. And he had no idea that they had discovered Lauren's body. And that's when he knew he was busted. And he kind of started to panic. I think he even had like a panic attack. You know, Richard Allen came forward, tipped himself in. Why would he do that? Why would Stephen McDaniel do that? Why would the guy who killed his mother come and give an interview and say that he thought some out-of-towners came, it was a mob hit, and they were disposing of a body in the suburbs? Why would he come and give an interview after he's the one that actually killed his mother, and that was his mother's body? He knew exactly who it was. Why do killers do that? It's because they're obsessing about it. You know, some of them even obsess so much over what they may have left, minor details, the most minute things. They even return to the crime scene. And some of the sicker ones even will have sex with the victim again, and then maybe pick up, let's say, a bottle that they left, or maybe clean off some DNA that they left the first time, or something along those lines. Maybe even move the body. But either way, they do obsess about it, and they think that they found the strategy that they're going to stick with. But once they're under those bright lights, sometimes they crumble. Some criminals are better at it than others. Stephen McDaniel and Richard Allen are not. What's up, Mustang?
Well, ball's in your court, Rick.
You just took my DNA.
What's up, Louise?
So what you were telling me out there, it's over, huh?
The damage is done. I don't know.
I'm sorry that you think this is
Let's
funny.
go back to that.
Maybe it's just a nervous laugh. I don't know.
Remember, he told him in the car during the search warrant, Richard Allen told Jerry Holman, it's over. It's over anyway. What does it matter? And Holman was like saying something about taking care of his wife. Like, we want to make sure she's taken care of. If she needs anything, she has a jacket or whatever. If she has everything she needs for work. Richard Allen says, what does it matter? It's over anyway. And Jerry Holman's responding to that here.
Well, ball's in your court, Rick.
You just took my DNA.
So what you were telling me out there, it's over, huh?
The damage is done. I don't know.
I'm sorry that you think this is funny and you keep laughing. Maybe it's just a nervous laugh. I don't know, but I'm trying to help you. Yes. Why is all this evidence clearly indicating that you're involved?
I can't tell you that. And what you're talking to me about is a bullet that was found
Big
by
fish.
the murder scene next to.
It's more than just that.
What's up, goat dog?
You have to listen to me for just 2 minutes straight. Just forget about everything else. Okay? The girls have a video of you. Experts are saying without a doubt that is you on the bridge. That is your voice. How they do it, I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Okay.
That's what they're saying. We have 5 witnesses that see you out there on the bridge with the girls.
Don't see that.
Right? Why don't you see that? I'm not lying to you.
Because it didn't happen.
It did happen.
There could have been
See, there's some people out there that are like, oh my God, Richard Allen is innocent. Look at him. He said he's so believable. They're just susceptible to the manipulation from psychopaths, honestly.
Somebody that seen me that I didn't see. What I'm telling you is they didn't see me anywhere near the girls or anybody else because I wasn't around anybody that day. So I'm done answering. Like, I know you're trying to trick me into saying
No, I'm
that.
not tricking you.
Like,
I don't care.
How could you possibly tricked into being like, oh man, you got so much information on me. Oh, okay, I did it. You tricked me into it. You know? All right. Somehow you tricked me into confessing to something I didn't do. I mean, that can happen. But it takes hours and hours and hours and through an illegal process of berating a suspect. Right. In some cases, law enforcement will leave the individual in that room for 24 hours, you know, not knowing that they could have left. You know, they're not going to tell them, hey, you could leave at any point. So they're under the impression they're confined. And then just believing that if they confess, they'll be allowed to leave the room and then go see an attorney. And then their attorney will come in and say, hey, well, you forced him. But instead, they use it as evidence against their suspect. That's a coerced confession. That's not what's happening to Richard Allen here. He's barely been in the office. Nobody's berating him. They're just simply showing him information. And the only reason he's talking is because he's gathering information for himself as well. He's not doing this without getting anything in return. His sacrifice is providing evidence that he's unaware of by them leading him into a trap. But at the same time, he's gaining insight into what they have against him.
How stressed out I get, I'm not going to fucking admit to something that I had nothing to do with.
I'm not asking you to do that. I'm not trying to trick you.
I didn't kill.
Listen, I have a full hand of cards here. I'm not laying all my cards on the table.
Okay.
I'm telling you bits and pieces, hoping that you will realize that without a doubt, we have you out there at the time of the merger. It clearly indicates that you're involved in this. Clearly.
It does not. There is nothing that you could have that's going to indicate me because I wasn't out there.
And you don't think that you're around like 6 inches away?
I know that.
Let's go to J. Ray says, what evidence is he providing? Well, they asked him, did you loan anybody out your gun? He said no. So that eliminates anybody else who might have had his gun and they went out to the crime scene. They asked him, hey, did you ever go target shooting out there near the crime scene? You know, that would be a great explanation for why we found you around. He said, no, I've never been target practicing out there. I've never been out there with my gun in that area. So therefore, he's providing evidence. And in fact, that evidence was used in trial against Richard Allen. Remember, everything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
I know that a round from my gun did not end up at a murder scene.
You're wrong.
Okay.
And the proof is
Inertia? Interesting.
right here.
I don't believe it. I mean,
Well, you're going to.
I'm not.
Yeah, that's right, Goat Dog.
You said you didn't want to be the fall guy. You're being the fall guy because you won't give us your side of the story. The truth.
I don't care.
You should care.
You're not going to prove I did something I didn't do.
You're exactly right. We're not. We're going to
Okay.
prove what you did. Your involvement in this.
Involvement. What was my involvement?
You tell me. You were there.
And I told you I had nothing to do with it. I told you I never even.
See, he's like, what do you got? He's like, come on. He's like, is there any connection? You're going to connect me to the Anthony Shots account? I doubt it. But the only reason he's there talking is to gather his own intel. Give me something. Show me how I'm connected. Let's talk more about this conspiracy theory.
I wasn't there. I'm not on video. 4
Neither
witnesses
am I.
didn't see me. 4 or 5 witnesses didn't see me out there, and
Me either.
And my round wasn't out of my gun. Wasn't 6 inches away from a dead girl's foot.
Mine either.
I'm telling you, you're living in this world,
Okay.
and I don't know why. I'm showing you some of the evidence that we have. And I'm giving you the opportunity to give your narrative, because if you don't, they're going
That's
to make
cute,
it up.
sunshine.
And you know the media, not even media is mild compared to social media,
Sure.
is going to portray you as this monster. Are you a monster?
They're already gonna do that. You've already talked.
When you get arrested for
It
this,
doesn't even
He's
matter
like-
because I actually care about what people think.
yeah, you do.
I said I do. I actually care
I
about
know
what
you do.
people think. That's why
So do I. That's
you've
why I'm
already
here.
done the damage. How am I supposed to? Never mind.
No, please talk to me.
I just
clear this up in my head.
I just don't know how I'm supposed to act like this never happened.
You can't. You can't. act
I'm not
like this
saying the
happened.
murder. I'm saying
That's exactly what you're saying. Your conscience is trying to tell you this is the day. This is the time. This is time to get out in front of this, Rick. You made a mistake. You got in
What's
the middle
up,
of
Saint?
this. You got in the middle of this. You cannot explain all the evidence away. And you're saying, "Oh, that's not me. I'm just telling you what we have. Some of what we have,
okay.
and we're still working on other things."
Okay.
But
I'm not
You
going to
said
tell
earlier-
you I did something I didn't do.
I don't want you to say
He
End of
wants.
story.
He's
I
getting
appreciate
information.
that. What did you do?
Most people don't realize it, but this is a two-way interview, kind of like a job interview. You can go in and be interviewed, or you can go in and you can interview, right? It's not always the employer who's interviewing you. You're interviewing them for employment. Same with suspect and investigator, and right now this is a two-way interview.
What is your involvement? Who else? I have 100 different questions, but if you're not willing to tell the truth, it's a waste of your time and mine. And you're going down for something that you have maybe some involvement in. Maybe this is all you.
Where's this guy that's saying that I helped him?
See,
You
he
tell
wants to
me.
know about that.
I'm not saying that. Did I say today that
You're saying that I was involved. Well, if I didn't do it, but I'm involved, what are you saying? If you got somebody saying I helped them do it, they're fucking crazy.
Okay. I never said that. Did I? I just said you're involved. What is your involvement? Is that a theory that some people may have that
I don't know.
I just want you to tell me all the truth. I just want you to
I'm
be
done.
completely honest with me.
If you're gonna arrest me, arrest me. I'm not talking anymore. This is ridiculous.
I just thought maybe you would appreciate my effort to help you. I mean,
Absolutely, Miss Dog Lover.
apparently you don't, because after today I can't help you.
I understand that.
Later,
You do
Giuseppe.
understand that.
I don't need your help.
You need help. You don't think any of this is important?
I think that nothing that you have is going to show me anywhere near the murder of two little girls. That's what I'm telling you.
I'm telling you, we do have that.
You don't. It's not possible.
It is possible.
Whatever.
Well, I apologize.
I'm already been dealing with bullshit, having to worry about what you've said to my neighbors, what you've said to the people I work with. That's more than I want to deal with. I'm not going to sit here and do this.
Okay.
His worst fears are being realized.
Jesus Christ.
I looked right at the camera.
Story.
I know I wasn't in there. Could you just give me?
No.
You don't want to talk about that.
Not
Okay,
talking
what-
about any of it.
Okay, what I failed to tell you too is the witnesses saw a gun in your pocket.
No, they didn't.
You're saying you didn't have a gun
I'm saying I did not have a gun.
when you were out there, and you told me earlier no one borrowed that gun.
I
See,
probably never
nobody.
would
You
have
told
let
me
somebody
nobody borrowed
my
the gun.
Probably wouldn't have, but I'm asking you, did you?
No.
Okay. And again, I'll try to clarify this earlier. You and I both know I'm not a scientist, and you're not a scientist. But what the scientists are telling me is this extraction mark is like a fingerprint. It's unique to the gun. I told you that earlier. You understand that. It's not It's not unique to that type of gun. It's unique to that specific gun. Just like your fingerprint. If I have a fingerprint, my fingerprint, your fingerprint, and I got a fingerprint at the scene, we match that fingerprint. It's significant to one person. No fingerprints are alike.
And what I'm telling you is there is no way that a bullet from my gun ended up at a murder scene.
He says he did, Louise.
And we've been working on this for over 5.5 years. We get a search warrant for your house, find your gun, because we were told when we found that round that it had 3 extraction marks on it. And without a doubt, they would be able to match that extraction mark to the gun, not type of gun.
Garrett says, if you ever get arrested, shut up and lawyer up. You don't even have to lawyer up. Just lawyer up if you get arrested.
We've taken multiple guns down there, and they have not matched to those extraction marks. Your gun does, 100% without a doubt. It's in a certificate of analysis. The scientists say,
like right here, Richard Allen doesn't even have to be talking to this guy. He could have just been like, I'm not going to interview with you. I'm just here to pick up my car. Is it going to be ready today? Yeah, in an hour. Okay, I'll wait in the waiting room. Or I'll be out front. Let me know when you pull it out. He doesn't have to sit in this interrogation room. He knows that. But he wants to know what they have. He's conducting his own interview.
that the marks on that gun are match your gun.
And I'm telling you, it didn't happen. I didn't shoot anybody. I've never even pointed a gun at
I'm
anybody.
not saying you shot anybody. I'm saying a fully intact round from your gun
What's going on, Christine?
was
And I'm telling you, that's not possible.
It is.
It's not.
How's it not?
Because I wasn't there.
Yep.
You were there.
That's part of it.
There. There's some.
I told you I was on the trail. I didn't tell you I was at a murder site.
This round is telling me you were there. You didn't.
I don't care what it's telling you.
You didn't
honestly.
lend your gun to anybody. I asked you that. Did you?
I'm done answering questions. Just arrest me. I'm done.
I'm trying to help you, Rick.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you something that's not true so you can feel better about this.
I already feel good about this.
Okay.
I feel good about what the experts are telling me.
Okay.
I feel good about the scientific evidence. I feel good about the witness statements. I feel good about everything.
He's like, I feel good.
About is you being a fall guy for anybody or everybody or anybody.
He wants to know about Anthony Shots.
Possible. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you did do this all by yourself. That's exactly.
He's like, give me what I need.
That's exactly what's going to be portrayed of you. You're this.
Now, remember, they had just sat down with Kagan Klein, and Kagan Klein gave them a full confession. They spent $1 million doing a search based off of that confession. 2 weeks after the Wabash River search was concluded, they're interviewing Richard Allen. Except interview, they're arresting him.
This evil monster that was just hunting for 2 teenage girls so you could just go down there and terrorize them and kill them, and that's not true. Is it?
I told you.
You and I both know that that's not true. You and I both know what happened. The evidence clearly is indicating. Now there's some missing pieces. I'm going to find those missing pieces.
Okay.
And it would be easier if you helped me find those missing pieces.
Oh my God. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I did something I didn't do.
I don't want you to. I told you that.
That's exactly what you want me to do. What else would you want me to do but tell you I did it? And I'm not going to, because I didn't. I've never been around those 2 girls in my life.
You were on the trail that day.
I was on the trail that day, and I told you that.
They walked right by you, according to witnesses.
No, they didn't. I never even seen them. Like, I think I'm going to see somebody if they walk past
I
me.
didn't even
Am I
see
not?
them.
I'm not saying somebody didn't see me that I didn't see. All I'm telling you is I never seen those 2 girls. Report what?
That you were out there and you were in the area.
The very day that they came out and said that they wanted anybody who might have been out there to come in, That's what I did. I went down to the police station. I said, hey, I was out at the trail that
Did
day.
you want to?
Well, I obviously did, or I wouldn't have.
Did you want to?
Because she's talking
No.
to us. She's talking to us right now. And she's.
I'm sure.
Did you want to? Hell no, he didn't want to. Also, I think that he had his phone at his mother's. You know, I think he was trying to create an alibi. And I think it's possible that the other suspects were in his truck. And that's why Keegan Klein was looking up the Marathon gas station. They put gas in the truck and they drove it back to Peru. Richard Allen picked it up at a later date.
She is. And she's going to tell you there's no way in hell that I'd ever do this. So we're all good.
It's not what was going on, Rick.
Then I don't know what is.
I just wish you'd be honest. That's all I do.
Oh my God.
Oh my
I have been
God.
honest with you, and you obviously don't believe me.
I don't, because if this evidence wasn't there, I would.
Okay.
You don't believe this evidence is?
I don't.
We're not here.
There's no way possible.
We didn't.
There is no way possible that a round from my gun ended up at a murder scene. It's not possible. So something's obviously wrong.
Something is wrong.
Exactly.
You and I both know what's wrong.
I didn't do it.
Strategic
and I'm not going to
pause.
sit here all day trying to convince you that I didn't do it. You obviously think that I did.
I'm not going to sit here all day and convince you that I think that you did do it, Rick. I'm just laying down some of the evidence that we have.
Okay.
And we're going to get more.
I don't think
And we're
so.
only giving you the opportunity to get out in front of this. This is your opportunity. Like I said earlier, the truth is easy.
I've got nothing to get out in front of. I'm not going to tell you I did something I didn't do.
Okay.
Okay.
And I don't want you to tell me something that you didn't do.
Then stop asking me to.
I'm not. I'm just asking you to tell the truth about this day. I asked you to go back and rehash it and you wouldn't. Why?
I told you, because I'm not going to, you guys are like trying to trick me into
I'm not trying to
doing
trick you.
something.
I'm not trying to trick you.
I told you what happened. You've already got it. There's no need for me to tell you again.
Story.
Whatever. There aren't any. I don't know how I can make this any clearer. I'm not going to tell you that I had something to do with this.
Okay. And I don't know how I can make this any clearer. We have evidence indicating that you're clearly involved in
Okay.
this. And that's sad that you won't help.
Okay.
Because if that was your daughter out there, you would help some people out.
You're damn right I
You're
would.
right. But you don't, so.
What's up, CJK? He's like, how the hell could I overlook that? Absolutely, Goat Dog. That's why I believe he said, I'm sorry for what I did to Abby. Whoever killed Libby forced him to do that. Maybe even threatened his daughter. You don't do that. Or he was afraid that it could happen to his daughter. He never once said, I'm sorry for what I did to the girls. He said, I'm sorry for what I did to Abby. And if you look at the crime scene and you listen to the testimony during the trial, they're two very different situations for each victim. And there was some kind of fiber or something over Abby's mouth. They didn't know if maybe she had duct tape or something, but I feel like somebody was holding her. You know, maybe they just had an arm over her face, maybe kind of like a chokehold. Or maybe they did wrap something around her mouth. But the evidence indicates that potentially there were more than one people involved. Right? No defensive wounds, no ligature marks. To me, that indicates somebody was holding Libby while she was attacked, and then let go immediately after. That's why she was able. That's why her hands were free, and were able to touch the wound, and then there was blood on her hands, and then on the tree too. And when you're losing a lot of blood like that, it's very quick. You become woozy. You can't stand up. Her leaning on the tree, leaving that handprint, is probably indicative of that. Becoming faint, becoming heavy, leans on the tree, and then falls backwards. And then may have been moved slightly to conceal her from the private drive. CJK, during interrogations of suspected killers, detectives may employ a range of tactics, including psychological techniques like leading statements, pressure, empathy, and inducements. I would also include fabrications to an extent.
Still waiting because it sounds like your wife's talking and she's being honest. So, she basically said you can't believe you lied to her, so you're lying to us too. But so, is there a reason why you have this round in your little keepsake box? What kind of do you have for your SIG?
I don't know.
Blazer.
Blazer.
I'm telling you.
At that time.
At that time, you had Winchester.
Okay.
The round we found was Winchester. The ammo you had in your gun and for your gun at the time was Blazer. But this was a Winchester. It says right there, Winchester. Same exact type of round.
We've been through this.
I know. I'm just giving you an opportunity. Like I said, your wife's being
Please stop giving me
And
opportunity.
she says ever since 2017, she's saying that you didn't want to go. You wouldn't let her go on the search party. She wanted to help.
Oh,
And she's saying that.
I think I know my wife.
Well, I'm just telling you.
My wife.
So it looks like when Holman left the building, he went in and checked up on what was going on with the interview with Kathy Allen. And she stated that Richard Allen didn't want her to go out and help search. So she gets off at about 5:30, comes home, and Richard Allen's asleep on the couch after committing a murder. Because he's probably high as a kite or drunk, you know. And she wants to go, hey, wake up. Like, did you hear about those two missing girls? I want to go out there and help with the search. He says no.
Bring her
Say
in.
some stupid shit.
You want me to bring her in and tell you?
I
She's
don't
telling
care
the truth
what you
about
did.
what happened. You didn't tell her, but you've lied to her for years, is how she feels right now.
Okay.
Because, and your depression has gotten considerably worse since this incident, which is.
This has been going on for 7-8 years now.
But it's gotten worse since.
Well, it's gotten really bad.
I could see why. If I killed two girls, I would
Oh my God.
I would have depression too.
Well,
I would have mental issues too,
I'm sure you would.
living with this.
I'm sure you would.
And that's why you are. Here's what I think, Rick. I don't know. Only you know, but here's my theory. You're out there. Maybe somebody set this up. Maybe they didn't. Maybe you're out there. Maybe we know you're out there. That's not a theory. That's a fact. We know you had a gun, Rick. I don't know. Only you know, but here's my theory. You're out there. Maybe somebody set this up. Maybe they didn't. Maybe you're out there. Maybe we know you're out there. That's not a theory. You're out there. Maybe we know you're out there. That's not a theory. That's a fact. We know you had a gun. Girl saw the gun in there.
So once again, he's like, maybe you set this up, maybe you didn't. We all know what he's referring to.
We know you have anger issues. Your wife told us before that you have some anger issues, and you have depression, and you have, those types of issues. And maybe this girl said something to you. I don't know. Maybe you said go down the hill, which we know. The experts say you said go down the hill. You get down there, and they piss you off for whatever reason. You racked the gun. You didn't realize you racked that gun to scare them, and that round popped out. You didn't realize it. Because maybe do you carry that gun with a round chambered, or do you not have it chambered?
When I carry it, I would have a round chamber,
So
but
you
I
don't
don't
get to
carry it
scare
very
it comes
often.
off. Well, you were carrying it that day because girl said. So if you have one chambered, and what I'm saying is if I have a round chamber, which I do, and I rack this gun right now around a fully intact round will pop out. Correct?
I assume.
Well, that's what's happened, and you didn't realize it.
Okay.
And that's why that round's there on the ground. And this
Absolutely,
is your
Howard.
opportunity.
Absolutely.
And you say that you don't want to this and
Can
that.
you please stop giving me opportunities? I'm not going to sit here and tell you I did something I didn't do.
Okay, tell me what
I'm
you
not
did.
going to tell you I'm involved with something.
Tell me
that I
what you
wasn't
did do
involved
then
with.
that day. Help me.
I didn't
Help me
murder
set
two
you
little
free.
girls.
What did you do?
I went for a walk on the trail. And I
What
went
part did you
home.
play?
And I told you the details of the best I can remember of what I did that day and what the walk was. I'm not going to. This is ridiculous. I'm not going to just keep repeating myself.
And I think if he wasn't spotted by Betsy Blair, I think when he was out on the bridge and he realized that the girls weren't there and they weren't actually on the trail, I really think that he thought Bree Wilbur was Abby. So when he realized that wasn't her, he walked to the bridge to see if they were there yet. And once he realized that that wasn't them and they're not even here at the trails, because I just walked the entirety of the trail, I think he took his hat off, he took his mask off, and he sparked a cigarette. And then here comes Betsy Blair. Then the girls are dropped off. They kind of wait a minute near the 505 fork in the trail. And they send out a few text messages to their friends to see where they are, maybe a Snapchat. And they're like, oh, sorry, we're already gone. Like, we've already left. And once they send out that Snapchat, of course, because Richard Allen and whoever he's with is observing the girls' movements and stalking them via Snapchat, they now know that the girls have just arrived. So they just arrive. Betsy Blair passes the girls. Richard Allen gets the heads up, like, hey, they're here. They're heading towards the bridge. He goes and lays in wait. The girls come out, post their Snapchat photos. He comes out on the bridge, and the plan goes into motion. And why did the chicken cross the street? To get to the other side.
Okay.
So,
Well, I'm not going to keep bringing up more evidence either. I mean, I can
Okay.
only give you so much. What about Ron Logan? Do you know Ron Logan?
mm-mm.
You ever been on his property? You don't,
Not that I know of.
You don't hunt. You said you fish?
We mushroom hunt. Yeah, I fish.
I'm just trying to figure out why that round from your gun would be out there. I'm giving you the
Not.
I know you.
See, he's like, were you out there fishing? Just tell me. Like, explain it to me. Were you out there fishing? You said you take your gun when you go fishing. Just tell me you went out there fishing. You know, that would give you an out. That would tell me, hey, possibly you weren't involved in this. You dropped your round because you fish out there, and somebody came and killed these two girls on top of where you were at one point in time. But he keeps helping Holman. He says, nope, never. I didn't loan my gun out. I never carried it around there. Because even if he admits to, let's say, fishing out there with his weapon, right where the girls were killed, that still ties him to the crime scene.
You don't want me to give you opportunities, but I'm giving you the opportunity. But you never mushroom hunt on that side of that ditch? On 2000, where you weren't mushrooming, it was too early for mushrooms.
A little bit. It was just a seasonably warm day. So I went for a walk.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Nobody had
That's
your
what we've
gun,
heard from
you
the
know.
beginning, right? It was an unseasonably warm
I'm not
day.
answering that. I've answered it 15 times.
I mean, obviously, you would tell me if somebody did, because then that would put them there and not you. Because right now, you are already out there.
Seeing the tactic by Holman is like, hey, did you let anybody borrow your gun? So he's just overlooking the tool mark evidence, whether or not it's valid or correct, or if there's been a second opinion or not. He's just already assuming that it's 100% accurate, and he doesn't want to focus on that part. You know, he doesn't want to talk about junk science, so to speak. So he bypasses that, kind of like how Richard Allen bypassed all of the damaging information that they had with his word salad. Holman is kind of doing a similar tactic, bypassing the subjectiveness of it all and just assuming like we have already proven that it's your round. It's not subjective. It's 100% a verification. And now he's like, we're just trying to figure out how it got out there. You know, we're giving you an out. They really want Richard Allen to lie. They want to trick him up, because once they get their suspect or their subject to lie and start changing their story, and then it becomes obvious. You know, truth tellers don't change their story. Not a whole lot. Sometimes they might recall things differently or later on.
By witnesses, and you and I both know that realistically, the evidence doesn't lie. So
It obviously does, if that's what it's saying.
I think.
Let me go to Garrett's comment real quick. Sleuth intuition, kind of unrelated. What are your thoughts on the other side, the south side of the bridge down the hill? Already the ground was interrupted. Do you think he went on the south side, turned around? No. There's potentially two answers that come to mind. One is that that's an active game trail. There are deer back there. I've been sent footage of deer crossing down the hill right there and crossing the creek right where the girls were found. Now, the one thing you learned being an avid outdoorsman and a hiker is you always follow the game trail. Animals do their best to find the easiest way to travel because they have to preserve their energy. They're not looking to waste energy. It's survival for them. So if you're hiking, follow the game trail and they're going to find the path of least resistance. So it's no coincidence that right where the deer cross is perhaps where a killer might choose to cross, because it's really not that deep. It's the easiest point to cross. And for the ground to be disturbed, it was most likely caused by the deer in the area. Deer, I think they have fox, maybe coyotes, I'm not sure. But I've been sent videos of deer crossing right there, going down the hill, going down near the bridge, going towards the sandbar, and crossing right into the murder scene. So there's a game trail there. That could explain the ground being disturbed. Also, we have a Snapchat photo of Bree Wilbur saying, "I'm back," on the north side, which indicates that she had just crossed the bridge shortly before the girls, and she most likely went down the hill right there.
I think I know you well enough, maybe I don't, that if you did
Cindy,
know
what's up?
borrowed your gun or had your
Good to
gun,
see you,
would tell
Cindy.
us.
Of course I would.
Okay. So it's realistic for me to believe that you were the only one to have your gun. Excuse me.
I've answered that 15 times.
Okay. And you said 15 times. That's true. So like I said, I'm trying to help you. If you don't want me to help you, I won't. I'll leave right now.
That's fine.
What I'd like for you to do is tell me again what happened, because you didn't tell me. I watched the interview. And I'm just trying to figure out why your round from your gun was 6 inches from those girls.
Absolutely,
And
CJK.
I'm
But
telling
he
you,
wants
that's not
this
possible.
information. I think he wants to hear if they have him connected to Richard
You
Allen
believe
or
in
to
science?
Keegan Klein.
Believe in
I believe
Because remember, the search just happened, and he was looking up a bunch of weird shit during the search, specifically the Delphi murders. So he's concerned. I think that's the part he's interested in. He's like, did they tell on me?
in science. I don't understand all of it.
I don't either, but if a scientist, a certified analyst is telling you that this round came from this gun, specifically this gun, not this type of gun.
I get all that. I know what you're saying. And what I'm telling you is that bullet did not come from my gun if it was found at that murder scene or on the bridge or where, like, it didn't come from my gun is what I'm trying to tell you.
And I'm trying to.
So
it did, and they're telling me.
Did you guys notice that he said or on the bridge? Never once during the interview did they talk about that. During the trial, they told the jury that they believe that he approached the girls and racked the gun. So it's a little bit interesting for Richard Allen to say, I didn't do anything on the bridge or at the crime scene. And then later on, he confessed to doing something on the bridge with his gun.
I'm trying to figure out who had your gun, and you're saying nobody did 15, 16 times, and who had a round from your gun. Did anybody have your ammo? I don't know. You explain to me. You try to explain to me why.
I'm not going to try to explain. I told you that.
You can't. You can't explain why your round is by this dead girl's foot.
Because it's not.
Same one as in his keepsake box.
But it is. You
But
believe in
it's not.
science. You believe in that analysis. You believe.
So it's crazy that people at the very least aren't saying that, well, maybe they didn't have enough evidence against Richard Allen to convict him. And if I was in his position, I would hope that they would have more evidence. But this is a lot of evidence. This is huge. You have a shell, a cartridge found at a murder scene that matches the very cartridge that you have in your keepsake box. Forget the tool marks. That right there in itself is extremely interesting. Of the guy that was there around the time of the murders, who somewhat matches the description of the killer. So forget the tool marks. Just the fact that he has the exact same type of bullet is interesting. So at the very least, if you're supporting Richard Allen at this point, you're calling him Babe or Free Richard Allen. That's disgusting, because at the very least, he's the prime suspect. Yeah, maybe there wasn't enough evidence in your opinion. You're not comfortable with that, watching somebody get 130 years with what they had. And then again, that's just your opinion. You weren't part of the jury. You didn't get to see everything. But at the very least, he should be the prime suspect, right? Otherwise, I believe that you're just a sicko.
Our lab, that round's been in storage since the 14th of 2017.
I am telling you that any round involved in this whole thing did not come from my gun.
And I'm telling you, you're lying.
Okay.
Because I have evidence that it is.
You don't.
That's not evidence?
I'm telling you, never mind.
Please.
I'm telling you.
I'm all ears.
Head freshly shaved.
I'm all ears.
Looks like he's ready to join the Dirty White Boys.
I'm all ears.
I've got nothing to say.
Sell me.
I've got nothing to say. This is ridiculous.
Why is he looking at his wrist?
So you're saying you didn't have the gun on the trail? Ears.
I've got nothing to say.
Sell me.
I've got nothing to say. This is ridiculous.
Look what he does with his hand. I wonder if he's thinking about that watch. It appears that the bridge guy is wearing a watch. Let me see if it's visible in the trial exhibit. Let's pull up the Keepsake box. I think he had a watch in there too. You know what? Did they test this for DNA? I'm sure they did, right? They probably swabbed the back of that and the front.
I'm all ears.
The way he looks at his wrist.
I'm all ears.
I've got nothing to say.
Sell me.
I've got nothing to say. This is ridiculous.
Wonder why he did that.
So you're saying you didn't have the gun on the trail, so there's no way you racked
He's
it
like
out
reliving it.
on the trail and somebody might have picked this round up.
What I'm telling you is I don't carry my gun. I carry my gun if we go fishing along the river, like night fishing. I carry my gun.
Well, the reason I ask is he kind of, you know how if you wear a watch a lot and you're on the sun too long, you get a little bit of a suntan, and then you take your watch off, you can kind of see the mark, like the farmer's tan. He kind of has that too. So I'm wondering where his watch is.
Gun if we're gonna go out and tromp through the woods mushroom hunting somewhere. That's about the only times I even carry my gun.
And you weren't mushroom hunting and you weren't fishing that day.
It was like February or something.
February 13th,
Okay.
2017.
You realize mushrooms don't grow that early,
Yeah,
right?
it's about May, right? April,
Probably
May.
around there.
Yeah. That's
So
what I'm saying.
why would I be mushroom hunting?
And remember, the bullet, the condition was pristine. Let's pull up one of those exhibits. Let's see. So I have that in a separate folder. So trial testimony stated that it appeared it had only been there for a short period of time. I would agree with that. Typically, if it had been there for a while, you might see some dirt kind of caked inside of the crevasses. There's photos of it at the scene. They have photos of it in the ground. Then they have photos of a guy picking it up. They took a photo of it in his hands. Like they testified to all of that. We covered the trial in great detail. We weren't there, but everybody that was there and reported and took notes, we covered all of those people under a microscope.
I'm just saying, you weren't mushroom hunting, you weren't fishing, you were just walking on a trail. There's no way you would.
But if your source is the Franks memo, well, now we understand why you're so misled.
I'm trying to figure out how that round got out there. If you're adamant that it is your round, I mean, you can't deny that. It's a round from your gun. Did you rack it on the trail? And
I didn't have my gun that
you
day.
never racked it on the trail
I didn't have my gun that day.
ever, any day. You ever remember racking your gun on that trail?
No, I don't.
You ever remember racking your gun while you're mushroom hunting out there in the years prior? Do you ever remember racking your gun when you were fishing? Did you ever go fishing there?
That look he just made, he's like, damn, that would have been good.
That trail.
No, I don't.
You ever remember racking your gun while you're mushroom hunting out there in the years
He's like, damn.
prior? Do you ever remember racking your gun
What the hell was that?
when you were fishing? Did you ever go fishing there?
Oh, man.
There's no way you would. I'm trying to figure out how that round got out there. If you're adamant that it is your round, I mean, you can't deny that. It's a round from your gun. Did you rack it on the trail? And
I didn't have my gun that day.
never racked it on the trail
I didn't have my gun that day.
ever, any day. You ever remember racking your gun on that trail?
No, I don't.
You ever remember racking your gun while you're mushroom hunting out there in the years prior? Do you ever remember?
There it is. I was trying to capture this. Kind of looks like a derp face. What the hell's going on with his eye? That's so crazy. He's a reptilian. Illuminati confirmed. Who's that, J. Ray? Who was it? I didn't have my gun that day. Instead, you're crazy and I'm out of here. Getting a lawyer today. And my eyes popping out of my head. That shit's weird. Remember, Wallace said that his eyes were popping out.
Racking your gun when you were fishing? Did you ever go fishing there?
Not usually, no.
Okay. Where do you usually go fishing?
Down at the
Riley Park.
dam.
Oakdale?
No, in town.
It's interesting. He admits here that he does go fishing at Riley Park. The girls were at Riley Park the day before this incident happened. So if you buy into the lone wolf theory, that kind of gives credence to that, I think. So if he spends time at Riley Park, and it was Anna Williams that was there watching Abby and Libby play. She was Abby was getting ready for baseball season, softball season. She was replacing somebody that I think recently dropped off the team or something like that. So she had been preparing all weekend for that. she was preparing with her grandfather on Sunday. He dropped her back off, headed out of town. And on Sunday, the girls were playing at Riley Park and they were trying out some of this equipment. And for Richard Allen to say that he spent time at Riley Park, and also he has a mutual friend with Anna. His name is Bones. They have a mutual friend, and you can see Bones in that video that was put out. I think I first saw it from Thomas Frost with Richard Allen playing pool, and he's kind of mingling with a few people there at the bar. That's Bones. He's friends with Anna, her dad, and Abby's grandfather. So who knows? Maybe Richard Allen was there at Riley Park. Bones was hanging out, and maybe they overheard the girls say, "We're going to the bridge."
Little Creek.
Oh,
Deer
okay,
Creek.
okay, Deer Creek.
Looking for the photograph here of him actually fishing at Riley Park. So the girl spent a lot of time at Riley Park and on the trails there, the Monon High Bridge Trail. Two things that Richard Allen has in common. Look at that. Looking like bridge guy right here. I don't know what the fuck he's wearing. I don't know what this is. It almost looks like Kevlar or a camelback, maybe. That's probably what it is, a camelback. It's probably like a hose sticking out somewhere. But just his posture kind of looks like the bridge guy, right? Kind of looks like, what's his name? Tater fries. That's his name, Sling Blade. Sling Blade looking mofo right there. But here, this is Riley Park. So he kind of had that in common with Libby. Trails and Riley Park. So I've always wondered if there was an inappropriate relationship going on. Maybe he was grooming her, and that's why he used Kagan to target her, maybe. You never know what triggers people to do what they do. But I do think it's interesting that they had this in common, right?
And you said earlier you don't shoot it a lot, so you weren't out there target practicing.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just trying to figure out how I got there.
Yeah, Mustang and actor's masterclass, if you ask
said
me.
you carry it when you're mushroom hunting and fishing, and obviously I know when mushrooms grow, and I know probably. I mean, you could go be fishing in February. Why do you carry it? Why would you carry your gun? I'm not a fisherman or a hunter. Why would you carry your gun if you're out mushroom hunting?
Just because you're going to be out in the boondocks, you just never know who you're going to run into. Personal protection.
Okay. Or snakes or something like that, I guess.
Why does he keep doing that with his hand?
Personal protection.
Okay. Or snakes or something like that, I guess.
I probably.
He's like personal protection, and he does something with his hand, like I don't know, like remembering getting in a fight, maybe.
We wouldn't shoot a snake.
You wouldn't?
No.
I would.
No.
I hate
Your
snakes.
choice.
All right.
I'm not saying I like them.
I guess I'm quicker.
Snakes
than a
and
snake. I can
such.
get away, maybe. When you do
What's up,
carry it,
Tony?
you carry it like a, just on your hip, or you carry it like one of those
Master ass.
fancy
Not a master
holster
class.
where
I
you
said
just put it in your
master
pocket,
ass.
It's got a holster, side holster.
like a paddle holster like this, just clips, or does it go through the belt?
It
Mine
goes
just,
through the belt. Well,
mine just slides on.
it goes through the belt or clips. I don't even.
Okay, so he's talking about that holster. I think everybody thinks it's either a shirt tail or a fanny pack, but I think it's a holster. He probably got rid of this one, or it could be the hoodie. I don't think it's a shirt tail. It could be the hoodie, the pocket right here, and then he has his gun and holster inside the hoodie right here, with his hand on it, and you can see the watch kind of glaring right here. Or he has his hat shoved in right here, maybe some other items in the hoodie. And that's sticking out kind of like this was here. Let me pull up those photos again. Do, 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 do. Bam. Okay. So you see how he has this hoodie kind of filled with some items here? Now, if you had a jacket over it, this right here would be hanging low. So I'm assuming what we're seeing here is what we're seeing here with the jacket over it. Take care, goat dog. Good to see you. Yay or nay? What's up, James Abbott? Maybe after all the appeals are exhausted, if he is the one that really did these murders, he will tell all. I think so. I think it would be a good opportunity for him to help out Kathy. You know, I think somebody would be willing to pay a pretty penny. Is that what we're seeing here, guys? I'm pretty sure that's what we're looking at. His hat or some other items in here, maybe some gloves. His phone, his gloves, cigarettes, lighter, This kind of looks like cigarettes, doesn't it? Kind of has a boxy look with like maybe a lighter. And then maybe the gun is just tucked into his pocket here. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's his hoodie pocket. I mean, look at where it lands here. Look at where it lands on his leg. Right about there. I mean, that's almost identical to this. So if you were to put a few heavier items maybe right here, it would drop it down a little bit more.
I don't know. I'd have to look. Right off, I don't remember.
Later, Miss Dog Lover.
And you said when you do carry, you have one in the chamber. That's how I carry mine.
Generally, yeah.
All right, let me see what the prosecutor has to say. I'm gonna call him real quick. What's going on? Okay.
Okay.
Let me call Nick. See what's up
What
with
do you want
Slick
me to
Nick.
tell him?
Let me call
I
my. I'm
want
gonna
you to
call
tell
my
him
boy
whatever you
Slick
wanna tell
Nick.
him. I mean,
The truth?
We about to
I'll
come
tell him
down
the
on
truth.
you.
That's what I do.
that's your version of the truth. Because it's obviously not.
I'm not making it up.
It's obviously not the truth.
You think I'm making up that we found this round? And
I don't know what you're doing. What I'm telling you is.
I'm not making this up. You and I both know. I'm not lying to you about anything. Everything I'm telling you is facts.
Okay.
I'm not trying to trick you into anything, Rick. I know you probably watched, you said you watched Dateline and all these fancy shows. I'm not trying to trick you. I'm just giving you some of the evidence that we have against you.
And I'm telling you that that's not possible.
Well, I'm not making this up. I showed you, I can't make it up. This is a legal document. Item 16.
Any other evidence that
Was identified as being cycled in the firearm of item 314. Item 314 is your gun. Item 16 is the round that we found out there on the ditch bank next to Liberty's foot.
and
That round compared to your gun.
and I'm telling you that didn't happen. That
I'm
it's
telling
not
you that. I
possible.
don't. So you think I've just typed this up? You think I'm just?
You're saying it happened. I'm not denying you're saying that. What I'm telling you is there's no way my bullet was found near a murder scene. It didn't happen.
And I showed you a picture
And I can tell you,
of a round, a Winchester 40 caliber round, right?
I've got nothing to work. Any
I've
other evidence that you have is obviously not going to point at me. I mean,
It is.
okay,
The expert witnesses, the witnesses, all of it.
I don't believe that.
But
Go ahead and call the prosecutor.
I'm just stumped here on what you think I made this up.
What do you want?
Let's go ahead and welcome in Sherry Faye, Growing Crazy, Poos, and Automobile. Expensive watch that he had to toss her. One of the girls grabbed his wrist. Maybe. Hopefully they tested that watch that was in the keepsake box for DNA. That's all I know.
Me to tell you.
I want you to tell you how do you think I made this up? Do you think I just typed this up? This is an official document.
I never said
I
you
can't
made it
do
up.
that. I can't lie
never
to
said
you.
you made it up.
I can't lie to you and say, hey, I have an official document right here saying that this exam was done on this round that we found at the scene. I can't make any of that up. That's what you're telling me.
Well, no. I've
Okay.
not once said that you're lying. I've not once said that you're making that up.
You're just saying
What
that.
I'm telling you is that there's no way that a bullet from my gun ended up anywhere near a murder scene. It just didn't happen.
And I'm telling you.
That's all I can tell you. I can't tell you any more than that.
And all I can tell you is we found this round back in 2000 and 17,
Okay.
collected it, have compared other guns to it. Other guns have not matched. We've had it for over 5.5 years. I
Yeah,
get information.
very
You're on the
compelling.
trail. We want to talk to you and say, hey, what's going on? Who'd you see? What'd you do? You kind of cooperate, but then we say, hey, we're looking for this and that. Would you let us look? Nope, get a search warrant. We did. We got a search warrant.
Sure.
And we found this gun in
Okay.
your house that you bought in 2001, that the extraction marks, which is the analogy I got from the lab, is it's compared to a fingerprint. It's unlike anybody else's.
Okay.
These extraction marks, if they got my SIG 40, if I had a SIG 40, I have a 45 and a 9, but if I had a 40, it wouldn't match to my gun. And we've had multiple 40 caliber guns down there.
Okay, so I want to show you guys a quick little video. Let me give you some info here. Let's see. Okay, so this is them shaping and cutting metal, fabricating metal into pieces and parts of that will become something much bigger. But what you need to notice is all the imperfections on the source of these items. See these little air pockets? So on a microscopic level, it's almost impossible for one piece of metal to match another, because on a microscopic level, they have all these imperfections here. And that's what tool mark evidence is. It's identifying these characteristics on a microscopic level. And people say, well, metal's metal, but metal on a microscopic level is not solid. Look at all these air pockets here. It would be almost impossible to find two matching pieces of metal. It's just not possible.
Testing on other people that cooperated with us.
Okay.
And it doesn't match to their gun. So that's why I'm telling you why we're here.
Sure.
One reason why we're
What's up,
here
Sherry?
today is because your gun
Me too.
matches to this round.
I mean, it's obvious they think so as well.
I can't make that up. I'm not lying to you, Rick. I can't. That's unethical. I can't go.
It's obviously what you think. What I'm telling you is
It's not what I think. It's what the evidence is telling me.
What's up, Poos? Says this convo right here is why all the Richard Allen supporters think he's innocent. He's calm and sounds convincing. I'd say calculating every word and how to act. Yeah, so this is round 2, right? So he practiced for 6 years, trained for the big fight, came out and buckled under the bright lights during round 1. He went back to his corner and was able to say, hey, you need to chill under, no matter what, you need to remain calm and deny. So he took a deep breath, came into round 2, and he definitely is more disciplined.
If I just thought, oh,
and also, like I said, people are susceptible. I believe he is a pure psychopath. If he's able to participate in the murder of 2 girls, go home and fall asleep, an hour later, that's crazy. Unless when he heard his wife arrive home, he jumped on the couch and acted like he was sleeping. Right? There's no way I participated in a murder. I've been sleeping on the couch all day.
I'm going to make this story up, but somebody was out there and jacked around out of their gun. I can't make that up without the evidence that indicates it. Did they say anything to you about this round and about your gun the day they talked to you a couple weeks ago?
No.
No, because we didn't know.
Okay.
And then we collected all the evidence that we thought would match to the evidence that we have and run the test on it. And the test says, ding,
And what
Matches
I'm telling
your
you
gun.
is, and I guess I
I can't
keep-
deny this.
What I'm
I
telling
know
you
what you're
is,
telling me. You're telling me that your gun and that round was
Blah
nowhere
blah
near.
blah blah
And
blah.
I'm telling you that the evidence indicates it is.
He's
Right?
like, I'm not going in
Well,
circles
same
with you,
sheet.
dude.
that's what you're telling me, yes.
And that's what you're telling me.
No.
What are you telling me?
I'm telling you
There's
that
no way in hell that my gun and rounds out there.
blah blah
Right,
blah
so-
blah blah.
Sorry, I won't interrupt you.
I'm not saying anything.
Because
You're not
you know
gonna
it's a
listen to
lie.
me anyway, man. I'm not saying nothing.
I can't make this up. That's what I'm saying. You and I
You
both
big old
know.
bully.
I can't make this up. I can't. This is a certified official document. I can't just type this shit up and say, oh, look at me. I'm lying to you, Rick. I'm
Okay,
trying to trick you into confessing to something you didn't do. That's bullshit. You and I both know I can't do that.
okay.
So tell me.
You tell me. Tell me.
Tell me.
I think you're involved in this double homicide. That's what I'm telling you because of
He's
the
running
facts
out of
that
I
juice.
get that you think that. And I'm
Right.
telling you I wasn't.
Okay. And if that's all it was, your word against my word, I would be like, okay, Rick, we'll see you later. But I got all this evidence that we can present to a jury of your peers that's going to say, fuck, Rick did this. He won't talk to us, though, so we don't know what he is. He's just some crazy monster that chases around teenage girls and wants to torture them and do whatever.
Sometimes I wonder if Rick's thinking, well, I'm never going to help you in your investigation. And I think the cocky part is, what took you so long? I expected you guys within a few days. Maybe that's why he's so cocky. Like either way, you guys barely got me. I've been running around for 6 years and you barely got me. So he
That's
always
what I'm
has that,
saying.
you know what I
Now
mean?
your wife, and
Especially
your daughter, and your
if he thought they were playing cat and mouse,
friends and your family have to live with that.
Exactly. They already have to. You've already done the damage.
I didn't do the damage.
You certainly did.
My
You
round
and
isn't-
everybody else.
A round from my gun isn't down there.
I can't explain to you something that I don't understand.
Okay. I wish you could. I wish somebody could.
J Ray, you believe Holman in this interview? Believe him about what? Well, I know what he lied about. Like we know what he's lied about and what he didn't. Do I believe the tool mark evidence? Absolutely. It's not junk science. I just showed you what it was all about.
I certainly wish I could.
Well, sit tight. I'm going to find out what your wife's been telling the other detective, and we'll go from there. Okay? I can bring her in here too.
Oh, this part's very interesting.
Let her tell you. Maybe she can convince you to tell the truth.
Welcome in, Scott Metalhead. What up? What up? In my opinion, he's acting exactly how an innocent person would. That's why he sounds so convincing. See, I think people are just susceptible to the manipulative ways of a psychopath. Some people are susceptible to that. And I think most people are, to be honest. That's what they've been doing their entire lives. That's how he was able to hide in plain sight. He's gotten good at it. Little old Rick. You ever seen the movie Devil's Advocate? Where Keanu Reeves is talking to Al Pacino and they're kind of walking. And Al Pacino says, it's good to be the little guy. That way they won't see you coming. There is still a ring of arrogance. Yeah, because no matter what, he has those 6.5 years. He's like, you guys have been chasing me. I've been the bridge guy. I've been right here under your noses. So no matter what, Rick has those 6.5 years. That's enough to make him arrogant. He's like, that should count for something. Sherry Faye, wonder how he is doing in his new home. I've been surprised we haven't heard anything yet. Well, from my understanding, he had an issue. I think there was an issue, and they had to put the prison on lockdown where he was at. Good to see you growing crazy. In my opinion, Richard is acting guilty as fuck. It is like when you catch your teenager lying. Put the hand in the cookie jar.
Your wife wants to
All
come
his
in
body
and talk to you,
language
so she
says
can come
to me
talk
that
you
he is
for a
lying.
minute,
I
okay?
agree with that.
Anything else? Need a smoke break? Another smoke? You want to step out back and smoke before you talk to your wife?
Welcome in, Joe
If
Sunshine.
you'll let me, I will,
Do
but
you have a cigarette?
they're in my jacket.
Where's your jacket?
I'm assuming she has it.
Okay.
Hang on.
He's like, up, here we go. I'm going to need some water for this. He's like getting ready. Is he reading his palm? The jacket. Here comes the jacket. Here comes the real murder jacket. Jacket gate. I don't know. I feel like the image that we pulled up the other day kind of proved that it's the jacket. Let me see if I can find it again.
So step out back.
Is there a restroom I can use?
Is there a restroom I could use?
Have a seat. Water, restroom break, smoke break, anything else? I'll see if she wants to
Okay.
come talk to you. You need nothing else? Water good? You need anything else to drink?
Just over this.
I know. I want to get over it too. I have a job to do. I'm trying to figure shit out.
Get it.
Okay.
That was weird. My phone went off at the same time. Pick it up, Rick. He's like, hello? I have a certain set of skills. Jacket gate. Official. Wait, what's going on? Looks like a fanny pack. No. Did you not just see? Hold on. Well, let me close some of these out. Let's close that one. The hell did I do with that? Oh, here it is. So it's basically, I've come to the determination that it is not a fanny pack. It is his hoodie. He's got a bunch of shit stuffed in the pocket of a brown hoodie. And I've kind of outlined where the jacket would be. And it's very similar to this. Look, see how it's kind of hanging down right here into his lap area? So it even looks like maybe a pack of cigarettes and a lighter. And then he has the gun kind of tucked into the pocket of the jacket. He might even have his holster in here too. But right here, it almost appears like you can see the Carhartt logo. Which is interesting. Ricky, welcome in. Yep, I think it's his hoodie. I feel like you can see it's like three-dimensional. Something very like, it looks like a pack of cigarettes, honestly. Cheers, brother.
Me again. She wants to talk to you.
Okay.
She's calming down a little bit.
Okay.
We basically told her about the same evidence that we have that we told you about. And she's wants to talk to you. She's a little
She's
upset.
probably terrified.
She is. So she's drinking her water and calming down a little bit. Like I told her, you mentioned it earlier, you're worried about what people are gonna think and all this. I get that. But I don't think you're a bad person. Neither does she.
What kind of good person kills two people?
People make bad decisions all the time. I don't know what happened. You know, for all I know, maybe they did something.
What makes two of us?
Well, you have some explaining to do, though. I don't think you can explain why, and other than you think I'm making it up. But good people make bad decisions all the time. Good people get backed into a corner all the time, and I don't know what they did. Maybe I have a hard time believing they did something to. I don't think anybody could do something to deserve to be killed over, but you know, if somebody gets angry and their medication isn't right or whatever, I'm on medication. If my medication isn't right, maybe I don't make the best decisions. You know, people that are drinking and doing drugs, not saying you do, but when people drink and do drugs or the medication's off, maybe they make bad decisions. Good people do it all the time, but good people get out in front of it and tell the truth and try to help, put an end to it. It's over. And she believes that she doesn't think we're making any of this up. She thinks you're a good person. I think you're a good person. I just think something went wrong. I don't know why or what happened, but only one person can tell me, and that's you.
I can't tell you something that I don't know. I don't know how to make that any clearer.
You don't want to remember?
Oh my God, I didn't do anything. I didn't murder two little girls. I didn't help somebody murder two little girls. I wasn't involved in, what'd you say, scheming or whatever. I wasn't involved with these two girls in any way, shape, or form. Never even seen them before.
Let's see what they're saying behind the camera. He's like, yeah, send her in.
Well, I'm gonna let her talk to you a little bit.
Okay.
You guys can try to sort this out. Let me know whatever I can do to help. If you need more water or anything.
Okay.
Need another smoke break. I just feel like you're I don't know. I don't know what to say.
You.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you don't know what to think.
It's tough.
It's not tough, it's bullshit.
I don't think it is.
Okay.
You had a valid explanation of all this, but you don't. That's what
I can't explain something I don't know.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out.
He's like, what the hell? You guys are supposed to come in. It was like that awkward silence.
baby. Yeah. It's all right, babe. It's gonna be all right. They're trying to tell me that you actually believe that I did it. And I just can't believe that.
He's like on her right as she gets in.
Trying to figure out why there's a bullet out there. Dude.
I know. Do you think I'm not? And that's what I told him. I can't explain something I don't understand. I tried to explain to him that there's no way that a bullet from my gun was at a murder scene because it didn't happen. I didn't even have my gun that day I went out. You know me. You know this isn't something I could do. And I know that you know that.
She's like, you are kind of crazy. Remember that time you stuck the gun in your mouth? And then you tried to take your own life by smashing into a parked SUV?
They really think I did this. And they want me to believe that I know you know I didn't do this. I guess that's what I'm saying. I don't know what they're trying to do here, but I'm not going to say something that's not true, and I can't explain something that I don't understand. The only way for me to explain it is that I don't know, because I'm saying it's not possible. There's no way that a bullet from my gun ended up at a murder scene. I didn't murder anybody.
Thank you, Mustang.
I didn't help somebody murder anybody. You know, I'm going to sit here and try to convince you. I know you know me.
Look at the way she's looking at him. So he's in full-blown manipulation, chameleon status. Like he was ready for her to come in there. He knew what he had to do. He was on her like flies on shit. But notice Kathy, she's locked in on him. The reason he's acting the way he's acting is because he knows that she's going to come in there and observe his body language. Look at her. She's home. She's focused in on him.
They really think I did this.
She's like, so do I.
They want me to believe that
it ain't me, babe.
I didn't do this. I guess that's what I'm saying.
It ain't me, babe.
I don't know what they're trying to do here, but
the one that's always right, never
I'm not
wrong.
going to say something that's not true, and I can't explain something that I don't understand. The only way for me to explain it is that I don't know, because I'm saying it's not possible. There's no way that a bullet from my gun.
Look, she's just looking right at him.
Ended up at a murder scene. I didn't murder him.
She's like, convince me. I want to be convinced. Convince me. He's like, okay, I will.
You know, I'm going to sit here and try to convince you. I know you know me. I know you know that I didn't do this. Had anything to do with it.
The streams are being crossed. You remember Automobile and Ghostbusters? Apparently, if you cross the streams, you could like destroy the planet or the universe or something. That's what's happening to his world right now. The different stories that he's had to tell, the story that he told his wife versus the story that he told police, they're crossing now. Just like the Ghostbusters. And his world is crumbling.
Talk about scheming or something.
Yeah, I don't know how did a bullet from your gun get out there?
I don't know, honey.
Because they said it came from our gun.
I know that's what they believe me. That's what they're telling me.
But how did it get there?
I don't know.
So she's thinking, why did this man keep me from going on the search? Now it makes sense, right? when I told him that looks like you on the bridge, he told me he never went on the bridge. Like, it's all clicking for her.
They said there was one in your box above your dresser to match it.
They showed me that picture too. I can't explain it. And I don't.
I can't either. They keep asking me and I don't know how to answer that.
You
No way
answer
for
it.
me to know.
I understand. Me either. And that's what I'm trying to tell them. You want to keep asking me, and I just keep telling you I can't explain
Absolutely,
it. I
bootleg.
don't know how to explain something that isn't possible.
Because usually, right, she's probably the one that kind of wears the pants.
But I know.
But I feel like he might let her. You know, if she wears the pants, then obviously, you know, I'm not this alpha maniac. You know, he tries to keep up appearances. So maybe he wants to be timid, but in the back of his mind, that's just part of his control and part of his tactic.
This is what I do know. I know that no bullet from my gun was connected with a murder in any way, shape, or form.
Power bottom.
And there's no way a bullet from my gun would have been near Abby and Libby's murder or anything else, because I never even seen those girls. Period. And I didn't even have my gun that day. So that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to make that any clearer.
I think so
I don't know how to
too.
make that any clearer. I don't know how to make somebody understand. I get what he's saying.
Sometimes I wonder if she convinced herself, Mustang, that he was guilty. And then when Brad and Andy showed up, they started talking about false confessions and things like that. Here, let me go to my false confession folder here. Because it does happen. It's a real thing. It happens more often than you think. I wonder what I did with that folder. Let's go into past stories. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this shit is tragic right here.
Murdered your dad.
No, I did
Yes, you
not.
did. Yeah,
Yes.
Daddy's dead because of you.
Hours of interrogation. Police lying to a suspect in the Inland Empire until he...
So I want to show you what a false confession looks like, stemming from brutal interrogation tactics, you know, that are basically illegal. So this is a horrible interview versus a, you know, your basic, what you would expect interview that took place between Holman and Richard Allen. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the contrast here.
falsely confesses to murder. And now the city of Fontana is paying a massive settlement tonight after police questioned a man for 17 hours until he confessed to killing his father, who's still alive. KCAL News reporter Tom Waite joins us now with what led up to this false and really hard to watch confession.
It was, Pat, and I watched many hours of this intense interrogation, and it's very eye-opening, and we'll get to it in just a second here. But the video of the interrogation is fascinating and disturbing. An innocent man spends hours being grilled by police. When it's over, he's in the throes of a full mental breakdown, and under pressure, he lies to detectives about killing his own father.
We don't think you're a monster, Thomas.
Fontana police detectives grilling Thomas Perez Jr.
I'll get back to that comment, Poos. Hold that thought.
After Perez Jr. reported his father missing. This interrogation descends into what's being described as psychological torture after the detectives extract a false murder.
So this is what he gets for calling the police. My father's missing. I need your help. This is what he gets.
Murder confession from Perez.
We just told you we found your dead dad, and you don't give a
That detective is lying. Perez Sr. was not dead.
Just the thought and finding out that your father had just passed away is enough to cause PTSD or create a mental situation, a crisis, really. You know, you could go into shock, you could be distracted, you could lose focus of the situation. So he's already shocked by that. Your father's dead. He's the one that called the police. He's the one that's the most concerned. He's the one closest to his father. He's the first person to alert law enforcement. They live together.
Dead. But in this moment, Fontana detectives don't know where he is. Perez Jr. reported him missing after they had an argument. A search warrant was served at the family home. Perez Sr.'s wallet, cell phone, and even some bloodstains were discovered. A canine also alerted to the odor of possible human remains. Detectives unleash an unrelenting interrogation of Perez Jr.
Murdered your dad.
No, I did
Yes, you
not.
did. Yeah,
Yes.
Daddy's dead because of you.
Daddy's dead.
No.
Yes, not only that, but poor Morgan here.
Margot.
What kind of sick motherfucker says something like that? Daddy's dead. These cops right here disgust me. Daddy's dead.
Not only that, but poor Morgan here.
Margot.
Sorry, Margot had to
Look,
witness it.
They're laughing, saying poor Margot, the dog, had to witness it. This is some of the most sickening shit I've ever seen.
Murdered your dad.
No, I did
Yes, you
not.
did. Yeah,
Yes.
Daddy's dead because of you.
No.
Yes,
Talking
not only
to him
that,
like a
but
child.
poor Morgan here.
Margot.
Sorry, Margot had to witness it.
Yeah. I walked through the blood.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
The psychological effects of hours of grilling take their toll. Detectives keep pushing. Perez spirals further. Eventually, Perez Jr. makes a false confession to killing his father. All this and
Are you seeing this? So he's tearing out flesh from his arms. He's ripping his shirt off and pulling hair literally out of his head. He's gone mad. Like, this is like some POW shit right here. This is what they tried to compare the Richard Allen Holman interview to. Like, these scumbags right here should be in prison for what they did. They should have gotten like 2 to 3 years. Trying to, doing what they did to this poor man. And look at the interview that we're watching now with Richard Allen. So I'm going to close this one down. Moral of the story is that his father never died. His father and him kind of got into a little bit of an argument. So he went and stayed with his girlfriend for 2 days. And apparently they didn't know he had a girlfriend. So while he's hanging out at his girlfriend's, living it up, you know, hanging out, he's getting tortured in this small, I don't know, what is that, a 10 by 10? It's terrifying. Now let's go back to this interview.
I don't have a way to explain it.
I mean, it's just not the same.
And they're like, there's a witness that said it was you out there.
Dear, I don't
And
know
I'm
what.
like, how did they know it was you? And so they said they showed her a picture.
Absolutely, Mustang.
And I'm like, of course you were out there.
If they seen me out there, they seen me out there, dear. And I
But
told
were you
them.
on the bridge?
I told them I was on the bridge. I went out to the first trestle.
Oh, okay.
That first
I
thing
don't
that.
remember you telling me that. You told me, so I told you you weren't on it.
See the streams, they're crossing. You told me you weren't on the bridge, so I told him you weren't on the bridge. See, he has a different story for law enforcement because he knows what they know, but he doesn't want Kathy to know what they know. That's why during the first interview, he's like, she doesn't even know I'm here. I don't want her to know I'm here. I don't want to give you my phone because if I do, she's going to ask me, where's my phone? Then I got to tell her where it is and she will know that I'm here. I don't want you to search my home because then she'll know that I'm here. I can't let her know because if you and my wife are in the same room, the streams are going to cross.
But I didn't.
It doesn't, hon, you're not in any trouble. You didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Huh?
I didn't know you were on it. I'm sorry.
Well, don't worry about it.
You told
Hon,
me you weren't.
huh?
You told me you weren't, so I just was.
No, I told you that I walked.
He says, I told you. He's so pissed off that she's even talking to the police. That's why he can't finish a sentence. He becomes extremely angry right here.
I told them I was on the bridge. I went out to the
Can't even finish a sentence. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna shut the fuck up before I do something I regret.
first trestle.
Oh, okay.
That first
I
thing
don't
that
remember you telling me that. You told me.
Because he's thinking about the cameras.
But I didn't.
it doesn't. Hon, you're not in any trouble. You didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Huh?
I didn't know you were on it. I'm sorry.
Well, don't worry about it.
You told
Hon,
me you weren't.
huh?
You told me you weren't, so I just was.
No, I told you that I walked.
He's like, shit.
Okay.
He's like, this is what I didn't want to happen.
I love you, baby.
He's like, but I'm going away now. This is what I've been fearing this entire time.
I don't know what they're trying to do, but I know that that's not what I told you. I love you.
He's like, this might be the last chance I get.
I just, this is, they're not going to get away with this. This is exactly what I would never want for you. And there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to say I did something I didn't do. I'm not.
Yeah.
And I know you know me, and I know you know that I would never do this. All I can say, hon, is you know me. I know, and I know you know me, and I know you.
Thank you. Growing crazy. I appreciate that.
And what they're doing to you right now, I'm not okay with this at all.
Ooh. And what they're doing, babe. You know what? Ooh. I'm not okay with that at all. I'm gonna handle that. I'm gonna fuck them up.
All I can say, hon, is you know me. I know, and I know you know me, and I know you. And what they're doing to you right now, And what they're doing to you right now, And what they're doing to you right now, I'm not okay with this at all.
Not okay with this at
And they know
all.
it, but they're going to do what they're going to do. I'm just sorry you're having to hurt. I'm sorry I'm having to go through it. I mean, how? It's like I told them, the damage is already done. You've already talked to people I work with. You talked to neighbors of mine. And I care about what people think.
What does that mean?
You know I care about what people think.
You know.
Oh, I have enough trouble not trying to believe that people think. Half the time I just think they think what I'm thinking. You know what I'm talking about. Always worried about what Jory thinks.
Bootleg pass.
I don't know.
I ain't okay with that.
And they're trying to, talk about my anxiety and depression and shit. And, I tried to explain to them.
This is kind of him telling Kathy, like, he's upset that she told him about this. But the only reason he's angry, his dreams are crossing, and that's what he's feared the most.
Going on for 7-8 years.
So he says he's had depression and all these issues, anxiety, and whatever he's been going through, whatever you want to call it, for 8 years. So that means about the 2-year point that he's been going through that is when the murders occurred. So to me, he could have been a ticking time bomb, perhaps.
Hell, I've had it my whole life.
I ain't okay with that. Ooh.
They want me to tell them that I did it. And I'm not going to. I'm not going to admit to something that I didn't do. How stupid is that?
She's like, that is stupid. Why are you
Don't
even?
care
Why
what
would you
they
even
do
say
to
that?
me.
Why would anybody do that? Why,
I'm not
like,
going to admit to doing something I had nothing to do with.
she's like, no shit. Like, what are you
And
talking about?
I'm not going to try to explain something I can't explain because I don't know. You tell me because I don't know.
He's putting it on thick.
I just know that I never even carried the gun unless we were going mushroom hunting, tromping through the woods, or fishing along the river. That's the only time I even carried it for the most part. I never even would have, hell, I haven't carried my gun and I don't even remember a time when I used to carry it. I mean, other than going fishing, like if we were going night fishing.
So if Kathy Allen can confirm that Richard Allen doesn't typically carry his gun, that's kind of another indication that this was a premeditated murder. He wasn't just doing something that he normally does and then found the opportunity to commit an act of violence against these two girls. So if he doesn't typically wear his gun, that's more of an indication that this murder was pre-planned, in my opinion. She seems to be confirming what he's saying there. He's saying, I don't really carry my gun. And she's not saying, yeah, you do. You always have your gun.
How did the bullet get out there, honey? I can't understand that.
I told you, I can't either, hon. There's two explanations. One is the bullet didn't come from my gun.
But did it though, honey? They've got ballistics on it.
I get that. Then it didn't come from a murder scene. I don't know what else to say. I get that. I get what they're saying. What I'm telling you is, if that bullet came from my gun, there's no way it was found with their investigation.
Yeah, maybe.
For the murders.
Or
There's
some
no
weird
way.
behavior, some red flags along the
I
way.
can't explain something I had no answer for.
Poos, yeah.
They want you to think that I done it. That's what this is all about. They want you to come in here and make me believe that you think I did it, and I know you don't. You know me too well. You know I'd never do something like this, or even be involved with something like this. So they're probably going to come and take you away from me and go at me again. So. Just tell them you want an attorney and they'll have to let you leave. Don't worry about me. I'm trying to, I don't know what they're doing.
I'm not leaving.
Yes, you do.
There is no way that evidence is going to show that I did
Right
this.
fucking here, Red.
You got one piece of evidence
I got
that I
multiple
can't
pieces.
explain.
Multiple. I'm not showing you my whole fucking hand here.
I don't care. I'm
You
telling
should
you I'm
care.
done
And
talking.
now you're gonna drag your fucking wife and your daughter through this because you're too fucking bullheaded to get out in front of this and admit that you made a mistake. And whatever the fuck happened out there, we'll never fucking know because you're too big of a fucking bullheaded. Go ahead.
So tell you I did something
Tell me
that
the
I
truth.
didn't do.
The truth, Rick. I don't want to
I've
know.
told you the truth and you don't want to hear it.
The evidence tells me otherwise. The evidence clearly indicates you're involved in this.
No, it doesn't.
It fucking does.
It doesn't. I'm telling you that there is no way that a bullet from my gun was used in these murders.
And I'm telling you that we had this fucking round on February the
understand.
14th, 2017. It's been secured in the fucking laboratory. And we've tested other guns
I understand
I'm
what you're
telling her.
saying.
I want her to hear this.
I understand what you're saying. What I'm telling you is I can't
He's
explain
like, don't
something
talk
I
to
don't
me. He's like, you talk to me.
understand.
Oh, the scientists
That's not
explained it
possible.
for you. The lab analysis of analysts have explained that for you. They're saying that this round, without a doubt, came from your gun.
Then
And
you've
told me
taken it from somewhere else then. Because it's not possible.
I did not take it from somewhere else. It was logged in. It was taken as a photograph. You think we fucking went and stole your fucking round and threw it down by a fucking dead girl's foot? This ain't fucking TV. This is realistic.
I understand.
We collected that fucking item on February the 14th. We didn't take it from anywhere
Okay.
else but that fucking scene. And we didn't take your gun from anywhere else. We took it from your fucking house.
I'm telling you, I can't explain something.
And I'm telling you, the fucking analysts explain it. You can't get past this.
Can you please let my wife out?
Absolutely. Come on, Kathy.
I love you, baby. Can I kiss her?
Can I kiss her?
Do the right thing, Kathy. Tell him to do the right thing.
She knows I will.
Yeah, do the right thing. You're going to put your family through this for no reason.
Wonder what he's thinking right then and there. I ain't okay with that. Mm-mm. Not at all. All right, guys, this is going to be our 5-minute warning. You cross the streams. Everybody knows you don't cross the streams. What, bitch? You want me to smack you?
You're gonna pay for what you've done to my wife.
What am I
You
doing?
want to
What?
fuck with me, but you leave my wife out of this. Fuck, leave me out of it.
No, you're involved in this. You're fucking rounds there, Rick.
No, it's
I can
not.
see you're getting pissed off. I understand.
I am pissed off. Did you not see my wife?
Did you not see these fucking two girls dead? No, that's what happened. You got fucking pissed off at them. You fucking dragged them down a fucking hill, and you fucking killed them. Don't fucking tell me you didn't.
I did.
18. He's like all wide-eyed. Big shout out to the replay crew. We'll have part 5 soon, and we'll listen to all the phone calls.
What?
You're gonna pay for what you've done to my wife.
What am I
You
doing?
want to
What?
fuck with me, but you leave my wife out of this. Fuck, leave me out of it.
No, you're involved in this. You're fucking rounds there, Rick.
No, it's
I can
not.
see you're getting pissed off. I
I
understand.
am pissed off. Did you not see my wife?
Did you not see these fucking two girls dead? No, that's what happened. You got fucking pissed off at them. You fucking dragged them down a
That look. We'll call that derp number 2.
And you fucking killed him! Don't fucking tell me you didn't!
I didn't kill anyone.
Bullshit!
I think that's the end, right? Hold on. 34.
Fucking upset for a reason, not
Because
because
you guys are trying to kill somebody.
You're trying to tell me that I'm not making this fucking round shit up, Rick. It is what it is.
I'm done talking. Arrest me.
Happy to. Be fucking happy to, because I tried to fucking help you and you wouldn't fucking do it.
Oh, you're helping me.
There you have it. All right, guys, we are going to bounce out of here. This one, his eyeballs popping out. Take care, J Ray. Growing, Poos, everybody else, Christine. Replay crew, let us know what you thought. Leave a comment. We'll get back to you. If you guys need to get a hold of me, hit me up, sleuthintuition@gmail.com. If you want some merch, go to sleuthintuition.com. There's free shipping. We have t-shirts, hoodies, and hats. And a big shout out to all of you who continue donating to the Cash App, Venmo, and Zelle. Means a lot to me. And those of you who support me this way, Super Sticker and Mustang, welcome back to members. I appreciate you guys. Take care. Keep a lookout for the notification. And later on today, hold on. 4 o'clock my time. We will be covering the Stephen Lawson trial relating to Crystal Rogers. So you can expect that a little bit later today. And on that note, guys, be good. Peace.